And we're live with another campaign countdown. Welcome, everyone. Yes, the minutes
Hey!
and the clock is ticking, and we
Oh
have some
man.
amazing creators with us to talk about their new comic, which is currently crowdfunding on Kickstarter, I
Yes.
believe. Yes,
Yes, it is.
and with
Yep.
2 weeks left to go, and so we're really excited to talk to these guys about their comic. Yes, they're ready for the fight, and you're
Yes.
ready to take it to the finish line here. So we're excited to talk to them and find out more about their book here today. But before
Awesome.
we get into the book itself, why don't we have you guys introduce yourselves and then tell us a little bit about how you guys got into comics?
Okay. Okay. Well, hey,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
going
Go
on?
ahead. Go ahead.
Hey,
You first.
hey, everybody, what's happening? This is Frankie B. Washington. Oh boy. I got into comics. Well, technically, I've worked more so in the art industry. So I'm more of a commercial illustrator. I worked in animation, film, as well as advertising, which was a big bulk. Advertising was pretty much a big bulk of my career. But I did self-publish. My first self-published comic book was back in 1991. It was
Oh,
my own
nice.
character called Peace, and
Hmm.
it was done on classic newsprint. So that would
Oh,
be
that's
my
cool.
very first comic. The second comic that I did was with a partner named Chad Lewis. It was called Brothers in Arms. We did 2 issues. We got through 2 issues, and then nothing else happened after that. And then over the years, I tried off and on to try to bring peace back. No pun intended. But again, it was always this whole thing where after I had done so much work in animation and working in film and then also doing advertising, I love the team element. I love the fact of working, sort of stretching, the sort of energy that's needed to produce something by different people, because I feel like everyone brings something different to the, to this thing. And so I try to work with some various people off and on. I ended up doing a lot of I did a bunch of like anthology stuff, little short stories for various companies. And then finally I did back in 2012 and 2013, I worked with James Biggie on a graphic novel called Robot God Akamatsu. And then that actually got picked up by a publisher, Zetabella Publishing in Canada.
Nice.
And yeah, everything was going good with
That sounds
that.
awesome, dude.
Everything was going good with that, but then unfortunately, we ran into a problem, and the problem
Uh-oh.
was that we approached it. We looked at it as
Hmm.
fanboys. We did something. We had a fanboy moment, but then when people started paying money, when we had a publisher, and the publisher said, "Okay, well, what's next?" We didn't plan for that.
Hmm.
And so that whole
Wow.
project just sort of collapsed on itself because
Hmm.
again, you have to find that understanding of business and art.
Hmm.
Whereas, yeah, you create something, but then you also have to plan on producing more of that because people are going to want more. And of course, if you have a publisher or anything, even if you're doing any kind of business thing, you're going to be like, well, how do we keep this thing running so that we can, be able to pay for stuff and people buy it and that whole thing. So that was a huge failure. That's probably one of my biggest ones where it really just it hit me because
Ah.
there was a lot of
Yeah.
people invested in that project. A
Hmm.
lot of people invested in that, and I felt like I really let them down. So
That's too
now
bad. Yeah.
comes me and Matt. Now Matt originally was looking for someone to do a webcomic, an artist for a webcomic series called The Secret Lives of Supervillains,
Hmm. Nice.
and we came across each other's path, and we worked on that bad boy for 5 years.
Oh,
About 6,
wow.
yeah.
Around 6, we'll say
Whoa.
6. Around 6 years we worked on that, and then finally Matt came to me and he had this idea. I think you brought up the Kaijus and Cowboys. Like you just said it, like, hey Frank, what do you think about Kaijus and Cowboys? And I was like, I like both of them. So let's try to do a comic book. And that was back in, what was that, 2020 or
2019.
2019? Yep, 2019. I honestly didn't think we were going to do anything really. I was like, okay,
Whoa.
but then once I started drawing, like started working on the character, and the first images that came to my mind was Clint Eastwood, the man with no
Hmm.
name,
Nice.
Jet
Classic.
Jaguar from the Godzilla
Ah.
series,
Yeah.
and then Machine Man, Jack Kirby's Machine Man.
Whoa.
And
How do you bring those together, man? Wow.
lo and behold, this guy came into
Oh
existence.
my. Well, that's cool, dude.
Well, we're actually have this figure as a reward tier.
Yeah. That's a
Yes,
Yep.
nice one, man. That's a nice figure right there, man.
this was done by the amazing Dope Pope, who is one of the
Damn, let me get on
he-
full screen there real quick so you can
Yeah,
show it
here you
off
go.
real quick. Hold on, let's see.
this
Yeah.
character this character comes with a base.
Whoa.
So that's Kaijus and Cowboy base. Now
That
it's
is
uncolored.
really cool.
But we have 2 reward tiers, but you get the reward tier where you get this character, and you can color it any
Whoa.
way you want.
That's so cool. That's
So
a
this
really
was,
cool one too, man. I love the
thank
detail
you.
on it.
And he stands around 8 inches tall and made of resin.
Yeah, it's a good size.
Yeah. So again, this is a character that we want people to get so that then they can paint them up any way they want. Post pictures, we will definitely repost and share the funness of it all. But yeah, so B-Wing came into existence, and then pretty much the rest is history. Matthew said he could
That's
do
really
12
cool,
issues,
man.
so we're looking to try to do 12 issues.
Oh, uh-oh. He
Oh, we
dropped
lost
out
him.
there. The figure was too epic, you know?
This is our first time trying this. The offer came.
Really?
Yeah, the offer came. I had known Dope Pope for years off and on because he mostly does a lot of kaiju stuff. A lot of kaiju figures
Kind
and
of
things
perfect
like that.
though, right?
Yeah,
In a way.
so he was like, "Hey Frank, I've seen your campaign. What's going on?" I said, "Hey man," I said,
Ah.
how do you feel about maybe trying to do B-Wing?" And he said, "Okay, I'll try it." And he did a fantastic job. So
And
this character.
if this works out, and you plan maybe new figures in the future
Oh
campaigns
yes,
as well?
oh most definitely, most definitely.
Nice.
We want to do at least like the wolf character. Like we had the video. Like if we actually go to the actual page, we have a video that was done by another friend of mine, Daniel Mead, in which we show the wolf kaiju, and that would be a character that I would love to see in the
That would
as
be
a follow-up.
good. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, Matt was going to introduce himself. Hopefully, he'll be back in a moment to do
Yeah,
so.
I know it's really in his defense. Matt has always had his connection has always been kind of spotty. So I was kind of crossing my
Okay, yeah.
fingers. I was like, oh man, it's too good. It's just too good right now.
Right? No, I feel that. But we'll carry on in his
Sure.
stead for sure, and keep the name alive. And
Sure.
again, hopefully he'll join us if he's able to do so here soon.
Sure, most definitely.
Yeah, but and I do want to jump into the comic and check
Sure.
out, and we'll check out the Kickstarter page. We're gonna
Yep.
check out all the tiers and all the perks that you guys have on offer.
There you go.
But I
Fantastic.
do want to go ahead and ask you about your wall behind you because it's really epic. And I just got to ask you, how long that took to accumulate there. Was that over your years of collecting, or?
Well, this was we actually moved into this place last year.
Oh, really?
And that's just one section. That's just
Oh my
one
God!
section.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a huge I am a huge collector, fan
That's awesome.
of giant robots and
Nice.
kaijus and stuff like that. So yeah, so this wall back here is slowly turning into the B-Wing wall. Like my father-in-law did a
Oh.
beautiful wooden plaque of the character.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, so
Wow.
I mean, this is the stuff that helps inspire me.
That's really cool.
I have to surround myself with all
I
this
love
stuff,
it,
so
dude.
it gets me inspired. It's like, okay, yeah, boom, let me get to some drawing now.
It's like and I could definitely see how Kaijus in Cowboys is like the perfect comic for you.
Well, the thing about it is that, and this is where, and I can't even emphasize how important it is for me, as an American artist who grew up on the Western style of comic book making. It is so important for me, and I feel for others like myself who grew up on those kind of styles, to get out there and put what we are doing out there so that the next generation can see it and so that they can embrace it as well. Because look, I'm a huge fan of anime and manga. I am. I was part of an anime club back in the 80s.
Nice.
I love it. But with that said, the thing about it is that it makes me a little nervous when I'm seeing mostly Western kids drawing a lot of manga stuff. And the Western style is almost sort of, it's kind of pushed down there. And so my fear is that we're possibly maybe a generation or two away from actually maybe possibly losing this sort of art form. That's just my fear.
Thought, man.
I'm hoping that it's just a fear. But the only way that we can sort of stop something like this is by individuals like myself who are so passionate about it to put our work out there so they can see it, so that we talk about it and say, look, this is a beautiful art form. Hey, bro, what's going on? You're back.
Hey, sorry about that. My computer decided to crap out on me for some reason. I don't know. This happens.
I explained to them that I had my fingers crossed for you too. And then I noticed, I was like, I'm gonna jinx it. We're gonna totally jinx it.
Oh no. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're back.
Yeah.
We should be fine now. Sorry, everyone.
Good. Well, why don't you go ahead and
yeah.
introduce yourself then? Now's a good time
All
for
right.
that, I think.
All right. So, hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Blair. Currently running the crappiest laptop on the face of the planet, as you can clearly tell. But, I mean, whenever we talk, whenever we're on streams together, like I always like to joke that my comic book journey is like the complete opposite of Frankie's. I did not grow up a comic book fan. I was more into I had a not to belittle the industry, but I had a family that didn't see a whole lot of worth in comic books. I mean, this also didn't help that I grew up in the 90s, and comic books in the 90s have a bit of a reputation. But as I got older, I started getting more into like superhero movies and superhero media, and I was like, oh, okay, there's something into this. I really liked Greek mythology and all that stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, I see the parallels here.
Yeah.
And so I sort of grew into comic books, and after I graduated from college, I wasn't doing very well. Physically, financially, and mentally. Like I was in a bit of a rut, and I was, not to get too into my mental health, I was spiraling a little bit. And I know it sounds cliche a little bit to say that, comic books saved me, but they kind of did.
Oh, wow.
I was working 5 different jobs, and I was getting nowhere, and sort of I was able to sort of, as I was working, I would go into this headspace where I could create my own stories and create my own worlds and all that. And I was it helped. It was really, it was a nice thing to do. And I started writing it down, and I was like, okay, let's, see how far we can take this. Let's see if we can use it to sort of get out, and that's where the Secret Lives of Villains started to happen. And I reached out on a freelance website, and I remember seeing Frankie's profile, and I was like, oh, I really want to work with him. I really want to work with him. It's like, if only he could notice me. And then I was posted, and then he reached out to me, and I was like, yes, this is perfect.
Cool. That's awesome.
I wonder if people do. I always wanted that. I wonder if people are intimidated by stuff like my thing, because I'm like, man, I'm the most just talk to me, man. Come on.
Well, I didn't know that then. But now I do. And it was it all seems so silly now, but it was that's what
Before,
it was.
It was so daunting.
Yeah, and I was living in Massachusetts at the time, so we were close distance-wise, even though we've only met once in real life. It's the funniest thing.
Oh, wow.
But then I was like, okay, so the webcomic's doing pretty well. We've got some other ideas. I'm gonna move and get out of the situation and hopefully wind up making more money. So I moved to the West Coast, and I moved to Portland, Oregon, because Image is there. Image had just moved there. Dark Horse was there. Oni Press was there, and it's it's either New York, Los Angeles, or Portland.
Yeah.
And Portland's the cheapest, and the weather's the nicest. So it's here I am.
Yeah. That's a good spot. Well, hey, I love that story about how you got into comics. I think that's a really, really cool story and really personal. I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
No worries.
And
Open
it's
book.
Amazing that you have been able to connect the two of you, and now you guys are making this comic together. And
I love the fact that I love the fact that Matt brings something different. I think that goes right back to what when I worked in these various businesses, because you would work with people who thought differently than you did. They might bring something that you may never even think of. I think totally. that's where true creativity can come from, because one person can have this sort of different kind of view on something, another person can have this, and you bring it together, and then it's just like, boom, let's create some magic here. And that's what I think that we have.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely absolutely a place for diehard fans and the people who are obsession is such a naughty word, but it's not at the same time. The world needs its people who are obsessed with things to make things happen. But at the same time, I always like to say to people, Leo Fender, the guy who created Fender guitars,
Yep.
never knew how to play the guitar.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
and he
Seriously?
created, yeah, he was
Yeah.
I think he was a carpenter or something. He was like technical, and
Oh,
like
wow.
Yeah.
his thing is like he would go to guitar players and say, I made this thing, check it out, can you tell me what's going on? So like that's how Fender guitars were created. So like it is possible to succeed in something
Yeah.
And not be like an expert in it, but you know.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that. You know, I try to tell people all the time, like, I love kaijus and stuff, but I am not. There are other people out there that blow me out the water, like the knowledge that they have for this genre and stuff like that, which is to a level that's like far surpassing anything I can offer. For me, drawing kaijus and giant robots, it's more of an emotional kind of feeling. When I'm drawing it, it's like I feel like I'm that kid sitting in front of the TV on Saturday after I've done all my chores and you know my mom's like everything's cool and I'm sitting there watching TV and I'm watching Godzilla on Creature the World Feature, that kind of thing. That's what I feel, and that's what I hope that, you know, hopefully when someone gets the comic that they get that same kind of feeling, that it's something that they read, that they're able to escape into this weird universe, and then be like, and then once it's closed, they go, okay, I want to get more, I want to read more, but then they can step out of it and get back to the real world. So
I love that kind of weird story, you know,
exactly.
weird tales, all that.
That's
kind
what
of
Jack
stuff,
Jack
you know?
Kirby is. I love Jack Kirby stuff. It was so out there, man. And he
Oh,
wasn't the only one. There was many others that did crazy stories, man. Didn't look nothing like anything here on this planet in reality. And I love that because it allows your mind to sort of escape from whatever issues or things going on in your real life.
Oh,
that's
cool.
that's that thing that I'm hoping that we can bring with Kaijus and Cowboys.
And like
that's amazing. Yeah.
And that's what I love about just comics in general. It's like, fun fact, I studied history in college, but I actually spent a lot of my time as a musician. And like for a extended period of time, I was actually a professional musician. Didn't work out, obviously. But like, if there's one thing I've learned, it's that every genre, every medium of artistic expression has like the one thing they do really, really well. Like if you want to do like, if you want to like distill an emotion to like a single moment, you write music. If you want to craft like a great character and a fantastic inner monologue, you write a novel. If you want to create a massive, expansive world with all these cool images and great characters, you write a comic book. And like that's another thing that sort of I like about the medium. It lets you just go absolutely hog wild with whatever you want, and you can express that in any style and any system that you want as well. So.
No, that's amazing. It sounds like you guys are both really passionate about creating comics, which I love to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for the journey. I think that's the thing where like with comic books, because I got into a discussion with some people and I was like, if you look at Mike Mignola originally when he first started out, when he was drawing, I think he did some Daredevil stuff and whatever, and then you see where he landed with Hellboy. There's a story, like you can look at his art style and you can see how it changed from that point to the point where he's doing Hellboy and his stories and stuff like that. And it's like that to me makes it much more more intriguing, I think, with anybody. Like if I was able to someone picks this book up, I want it to be like once they get to issue 6 is going to be so much different than issue 1 was. You know, that kind of thing. It's like each evolution, you know, as it keeps going and going and going. The writing, the art, there's a story that goes along with it. And then people are along for that ride as they're reading it.
And so how many issues do you have planned then for the series?
12.
We got 12 issues planned.
Yep.
And we've got 7 issues drawn.
Wow.
And the whole thing's the whole thing's scripted out. I'm working on the script for issue 8.
Actually, I have to correct you. 6 issues done. 6 issues done.
Fair.
Oh, yeah.
But
no,
I gotta work on the 7. I'm like, I'm fast, but I'm not that fast.
the script for 7 issues is done.
That's already done.
The scripts for 7 issues. So but
that's another thing we would tell people. Ideally, you should have stuff done ahead of time. At least if you, depending on your book, have a massive chunk of it done, so that you're not getting bogged down. Like if you have your campaign or whatever, and it's like, you don't want people waiting, because I think people are reaching that point where they just don't want to be waiting on stuff for like years.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
One of the things about it is that we've been really trying to work on our fulfillment, sort of, that whole space for fulfillment, and we've been getting pretty good. We got down to like 3 months.
About 3 months, and
3 months.
That's quite a quick turnaround. I would say, honestly.
With any luck, we can actually get it down to less.
We'll try. Again,
it's tough. I can understand. I can relate. I understand how much what goes into it. It's a lot of work. And there's a lot of logistics to make sure it all goes smoothly. So, it's not easy.
Well, customer service is a big thing. That's part of this. And I think another thing people have to understand is that you have to, you got to be able to talk to people. People have spent their money on your product. So when someone comes to you, which we've had, some people contact us because they're like, hey, where's our thing at or whatever, then we got to be there to make sure that they are taken care of. And that's a huge thing. You can't ignore people who have already spent money for your product. You just can't. That's bad business.
Yeah.
To make it very clear, not to badmouth the people who have reached out to us, but it has mostly been people who haven't filled out the survey and who haven't gotten the information to us.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Well.
No. It happens. Like people put in the wrong address. People.
Hey, I've been guilty of that myself. I'll be honest.
So.
Yeah. But even still,
we are listening.
When they respond to us, we immediately, Matthew responds to them immediately back and go, hey, how you doing? What's going on? We take care of it. We make sure that we talk to them, we communicate. Communication. That magic word. That's a magic word. That's a word for the day, kiddies. Communication. You have to keep that avenue open. It could be painful, it could be a painful conversation, but you gotta keep it open, because that's how you'll get better. That's how you'll learn. You'll learn and you'll be like, okay, well next time we'll learn this here and there, but whatever. So
I gotta remember that one. That's a good piece of advice right there.
Yes, it is. Yes, communication.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm excited to dive into the campaign and check it out. So I'm going to go ahead and put this up on the screen so everybody can share and look at it with us as we go along and check out.
Hopefully, my laptop will not crap out this time.
Fingers crossed. Looks like is there a trailer as well we could play?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Oh, cool.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and start with the trailer then here. I've shared the audio here. That way everyone can. I have to say that was pretty awesome.
Thank you. Well, that was Daniel Mead. Daniel Mead's an old friend, and he blew me away when he did that. It just opens up so many possibilities. It's just like
it's so cool. Yeah,
you see it and you go, "That's insane!"
Whoa.
Like when he showed it to me,
really,
that's insane.
Yeah, it looks really good, dude.
So pretty much, look how close we are. We're like 75%.
14 days to go. You guys got this, man.
We got this. We got this.
75% is a huge accomplishment, man. You guys have reached a big milestone right there, I feel like.
Yeah.
So definitely on the right track, and
yep.
Really excited. And we'll definitely be back in this comic as well.
Oh wow! Thank you.
Yeah,
well, it's not just one, so you'll be able to get 1, 2, and 3.
Perfect.
Yeah, we made sure that there's a catch-up
bundle. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, you got it, man. Yeah, you got it. And I love that because for me, like as someone who's not backed the previous campaigns, it'll allow me an opportunity to get in there and really get the whole story, and other people as well.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's a really great option.
All right.
So yeah, let's check it out. Let's
All right,
take
let's
a
look
look
at
at
it.
this campaign. And so we got start here. We got the cover.
That's the
It looks
cover for
like.
issue 3. And one of the things about it is that, when I grew up reading like a lot of the Bronze Age comic books, they would always show like a sort of teaser for what was going to happen inside the comic.
Mm.
And so that's sort of like a thing that I've been constantly keeping in mind, that I wanted to almost look like the covers will always have these insane action scenes or whatever, scenes that play off something that's possibly going to happen inside, in the interior.
And speaking of which, I meant to actually ask you this earlier here, but it's good we can pause and appreciate the art while I ask you this. How does your team? How do you two collaborate together, and how does your creative process work as creators together on the comic?
Well, like I said, the whole thing's already been plotted out, and it's pretty bog standard actually. Like, I'll write the script, I'll send it to Frankie. He'll come back with some notes and like his
And thumbnails.
thumbnail
Yeah.
sketches,
Yeah.
and like
And my thumbnails are tight.
it's a constant state of readjustment, like
Yeah.
tweaking, fine tuning, reworking, and like it's like a dialogue. I mean, like the like you when you read about like how the old guys did it.
Mhm.
There's the Marvel method, which is what Kirby and Lee did, where like Lee
Yeah.
would give Kirby like the broad overview of what was going on. Kirby would be like, okay, and then he would do the art, and Lee would add the dialogue later. I like to describe it as sort of like Marvel method light.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. That's a good.
Like
That's a good
the
one.
script has, and I'm crapping out.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, the audio seems like it's. I wonder if it's because I have the screen share on. Perhaps I'm not sure.
Hello?
Yeah. We can hear you.
That's a little better, I think. Potentially.
Matt.
More technical difficulties.
Well, yeah.
Proving the point true. from
Well,
earlier.
technically, what he said is like, yeah, it's like he'll send the script, and then I'll do like the thumbnails, and then from there, it's like we'll go back and forth. Like I tend to write notes with my thumbnails, because I want to make sure to explain to him, like sort of like why I did what I did. So say if he put like 4 panels, I may see 6. And I'll be like, well, this is the reason why I want to do this and such, and then we'll talk about it or whatever. But usually my thumbnails are pretty tight. My thumbnails are to the point where if everything's good, if I can make some little minor tweaks here and there in Photoshop, I could just blow them up, and then I could trace right off of them, and then draw onto the final board.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So that's in a lot of ways you're really laying down the foundation.
Well, it's going back to my advertising days. Advertising taught me how to become more efficient because again, you're dealing with deadlines and stuff, and so advertising was always about how efficient can you be? How do you find ways to cut down time? Like it's like the sense of, because you're trying to get these projects done really quick, because they're like, hey, you're on a massive deadline. So now if I'm working with somebody, a client, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, if I draw these tighter, then the client will be able to see it much more clearer. And then if they need me to make any sort of tweaks, I can make the adjustments in Photoshop easy enough, and then I can easily send it off. So it speeds up the process, pretty much.
Wow. Yeah.
So then once everything is finally agreed upon, then I can take it to the next level, which is blow them up. I can light table them, and then I can finally get to work.
That's really cool. I like that method. It definitely could see how it could cut back on misunderstandings and having to do reworking on a lot of different things. And
you want to get more efficient. That's something that I learned. It's like I learned that a long time ago. And then also I remember once me and my buddy we played racquetball, and we were playing with these old schoolers. These guys are much more older than us. And I remember my buddy, we were like, yeah, we're gonna come and beat these guys. That didn't happen. Those guys had me and my buddy running back up and forth around the court because they knew how to hit the ball. They knew all the angles and shots. So they didn't exert that much. They didn't exert any energy. But we did chasing balls we couldn't catch. So there's your metaphor. Where the thing is
Yeah.
that you don't want to be chasing stuff. You want to
Yeah.
you want to take your energy and devote your energy toward the main thing, and the main thing really is getting the artwork, getting it approved. So now you can really focus your energies down on the art. So you're not spending days trying to go over stuff, tweaking it over and over, and that kind of stuff. It's like
Oh,
that
wow.
just eats up time, you know.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And you don't want to eat up time. You want to be much more efficient.
Especially when I could see, how detailed your art is too. I can imagine efficiency would be really
Yeah.
important.
And the funny
What-
part, yeah, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, what's funny is that the way you described everything, it reminds me of Rob Liefeld, but
Mm.
you actually take the time to actually, if you blow it up, you're like, okay, what's not going to work anymore? What
Yeah.
will work? Should I keep this in the same angle? Should I keep this in the same posture?
Yep.
Kind of
What-
thing. You actually take all that into consideration, where a lot of times, I don't know if you ever really learned from this,
Mhm.
but a lot of times Rob Liefeld would just blow it up and then just go through it,
Yeah.
and it really ruined a lot of his art.
Yep. Well, the funny part is that when I draw my artwork, I'm drawing at the comic book size.
Mhm.
Oh really?
So, yeah, because
Huh.
years ago, I used to draw like the standard was like 10 by 15.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and I found that when I drew that big, I wanted to fill the space up, so that when it got reduced down, I hated what it looked. It just looked muddy. It just looked like it was just everything was crammed in there. It just didn't work for me. So then so it was like in the 2000s. I love buying artwork as well. So I was buying artwork at that time, and I saw this artist, and he posted his whole run of a book that he did. And so, but what I liked about it was that he was able to get 2 pages per one comic book sheet. So the sheet was like 11 by 17, but he was able to get two. He was able to get
Wow.
2 pages on it. So I was like, I'm gonna and his artwork was really nice. So I said, I'm gonna purchase this guy's artwork. So I have to see how this looks up close. So I bought him. I bought the pages and stuff, and I looked at him and I said, "This is amazing." So theoretically, I'm possibly drawing more closer to how manga artists draw. I forgot what their size is, but it's much more smaller than what the regular Western style is, like 10 by 15. I think it's roughly like 8, maybe 8. It could be 8 and 11, maybe. I'm drawing like 6.875 by 10.438. That'd be my full bleed working size. So that's like the standard comic book size, but because it helps me to see much smaller. Because after that, years later, I started doing a lot of like work and doing storyboards. I was doing sketch cards. My work I started getting better drawing smaller, and it helps me. It just makes me, because what it does is it once I have it laid out, it's gonna be the way it is. You sort of understand what I'm saying. So it's literally that I know that when I drew this right here, that I wasn't gonna lose anything, or it's gonna be too muddy or whatever.
Yeah, it looks exactly the way it's supposed to.
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I could see why you would invest the time into being able to do that. And it definitely clearly shows you put in a lot of effort into
and it's
your art.
become second nature now. Like, I don't even think about the time. Like, it's become part of my ritual.
Wow.
So it's not work to me. It's not work. It's like,
That's
I think
great.
every artist out there has a ritual that they do when they do their art. And somebody else may look at it and go, "Wow, that seems really time consuming," or whatever. But to you, it's like, no, it's not. It works for me, and I'm all for that. I'm like, every artist has their kind of whatever their technique is. So don't ruin the wheel if it works. Keep that wheel rolling.
that's great. I love it.
All right.
Well, thank you. That's
yeah.
a cool insight.
No
into
problem.
That.
Now,
And getting into some interior pages here.
There you go. So I also want to let people know that the background color that you see that looks almost like newsprint, that's actually digitally. That's all done digitally.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. And that was done for aesthetic reason, I imagine.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay. Nice. Kind of harken back to those old newspaper days when you.
Of course.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. That's a good touch.
And I do all of my sound effects by hand.
Nice.
So that's all part of the art. We do have a letterer,
Wow.
Mike Stock. He does great lettering, but I was just like, sometimes it's like I gotta have sound effects in there. I'm a big sound effect guy. I feel like that's something that's been missing sometimes, especially a lot of the books, like the old school books. They worked hard on trying to bring the sound effects to be part of the artwork.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't like this alien thing where it was sort of plop right in there. It was like, if somebody was punching through something, then the punch could be pow, but it would be looking like the rubble, that kind of thing. That's the kind of stuff that I love doing.
Yeah, no, I think you did a good job on the lettering there too, as well.
Well, there's that
really unique.
Well, there's that part of me where when I think about indie comic books, and again, it's outlaw comics and then also underground comics, there's a rawness that I really love. I think it's almost like this kind of rebel side where it shouldn't look too pretty. Mm-hmm. That's just my own personal feeling. Like, I've always felt that artwork, there should be this
the punk aspect.
Well,
yeah.
Well, it's like when I used to go to cons, and I'm saying back in the 80s into the 90s, I would go down Artist Alley, and I still have zines that I got.
Really?
From back then. And then you would see these hand-lettered, like, people writing. It's to the point where you couldn't even make out. Some of it might not even be legible. But I loved it. But I loved that stuff. And so
that sounds like old school comics me and my friends would make back in high school.
Exactly, because it was raw. It was the truth. We call that the truth. That is the truth. There's no trying to, get around it, whatever. And sometimes it's kind of nice to see someone's truth. To get their word. Now, by today's standard, you can clean it up a little bit, but I don't want it to be so clean that it loses its humanity.
Wow.
And that's the thing that I look at sometimes. I look at artwork where I say it's, not to knock on people who do digital artwork, but I just feel like there can be a sense where it's so clean that it almost becomes homogenized.
I totally see what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely understand that. That's my actual personal reason why I've been doing a lot of coloring in digital, but I mainly do all the drawing in traditional work. I do all the inking myself. But I've been recently thinking, with how prevalent digital is really becoming now, I might just go back to the old school ways, do watercolor and other stuff. Me and Michael were actually talking about this, where I want to actually bring the sense of art back to it. Yeah, in a sense, where you, instead of just seeing my coloring techniques and everything, you see the actual whole piece artwork.
Sure.
And that's kind of what I feel like a lot of the art world is missing in general. It's just like you were saying, you're true. True part of you, in a sense. Yeah. And for me, artwork isn't this thing that's meant to be performed or anything, especially an art piece kind of thing. It's meant to be, I want to say, an accumulation of everything, but kind of feel that doesn't give the right sense of what I'm trying to say at the same time. Go on.
No, I was gonna say, like, again, it's one question that I've posed to many people is I said that drawing your own original artwork for an artist is a good thing to have original artwork, because that was always a secondary income. It was always something where, like, say if the artist, whatever, was a very popular artist, but then all of a sudden, because of times changing, things change. So they're like, okay, how do I make some more money? Well, they would sell the original artwork. What happens if you don't have original artwork to sell? You've just killed off a massive, like, financial stream for yourself. Or the capability to be even to do original artwork. Because as a collector, this has happened to me, where I remember once I saw this kid's work, and I loved his. I thought his work was fantastic, and I said, "Hey, man, I'd like to commission you to do a piece and stuff." And he was like, "Well, I don't do original artwork. I just do digital." And I was like, "Nah, I'm not that kind of collector." My whole thing is that if I'm going to pay for artwork, I want to own the artwork. That's the whole point of being a collector, is the bragging rights. To be like, yes, I got. I mean, that's the truth about it. Yeah.
True.
Are you talking about like hard copy for original work, or are you talking like
physical artwork?
Okay.
Physical,
okay.
Like hand, not a print, not even a what's it called? Geisleys? Those high end.
The glossy prints. Yeah.
No, I'm not even talking.
You're talking about original.
I'm saying original artwork.
Like canvas.
Like the original artwork.
Art was put onto the the
Yes.
medium.
That means that a coffee stain is on there. A coffee stain, a fingerprint that's been in the
Yeah,
ink.
like
Yeah.
what you'll see sometimes artists do for comics, they'll sell their original work
Yes.
for the comic
Yes.
page, kind of thing if they did it
Yeah.
traditionally.
That's
In
that's
a
why
sense.
that's why it has more value, because that tells the real truth. Because as someone who's owned original artwork, I've seen little errors in that artwork. I've had artwork comic book pages where they had paste ups, like they literally pasted the words right on it. Some of it almost coming up because the glue's old. That tells me a story. That's history. That's what as a collector, I want to buy history. A collector pays for history. They own that history. You
That's
can't
so cool,
if
yeah.
someone prints out something, does prints, and it's like 100
Right.
prints.
It's not the same, is it?
It's not the same.
Yeah.
It just isn't.
That's really interesting.
And as somebody here, here's the equivalent to that. As somebody who collects figures, I have some figures like robots and stuff. There's people out there that are hardcore robot collectors, where they keep the boxes and all that stuff, and they really take care of this stuff. That's a different thing. But you know that many of those figures have been mass produced. So it's like, yeah, the value's based on maybe like if they did like 200 or 500 figures. Okay, fine. There's 500 of these unique figures that are done. Okay, there's your value in that. But you know what's more valuable? What if you were able to get the original art piece that the artist did? Maybe for the box art. Or maybe the original artwork for the guy who did the concepting of the character. That's what I want. Just like, anything else out there, like He-Man. I remember watching the Toys Made where the guy drew the image of how He-Man, the first He-Man looked. That's what you want. You can get He-Man figures, but you want that original artwork. The G.I. Joe figure.
That's the part that's really special about it.
That's more valuable.
Yeah.
So that's why one of the things where I scratch my head and I go, yeah, it's like you're creating this digital. I like part of me, the advertising part of me understands why artists do the digital artwork, because speed. That's a whole efficiency thing where it's like, well, we gotta get these books out, we gotta crank them out. So I understand that aspect of it. But then the other part of me goes, yeah, but that's not what comic books were about. When I was in advertising is a whole different animal. It's about, we're producing artwork for a client to look at something. So if I'm doing work for, which I have done for Dunkin' Donuts or Wendy's or something like that, then I got to make sure everything's on point, make sure that their product looks really good, so that when they do the pitch meeting, then the client looks at it and goes, okay, here's a big thumbs up, we're going to do ads, prints, that kind of thing. That's a whole different animal with comic books. Comic books is an investment where people are investing, reading into these stories. Now, this is something where it's like people are like, I'm into the story, now I want to get stuff that's associated with the story, and one of those things hopefully will probably be some original artwork from that person who did the artwork on there, or maybe the writer will write a script and put that up for a line or something like that. These are the things that have value. So it's a very odd thing to me when I see people who are just only focusing on digital and they have nothing else.
Yeah.
And especially if
real quick, it looks like the writer Matt is back. Sorry to interrupt, but
Sure.
I feel like a little bit of the only digital isn't necessarily just the time saving, but it's also the convenience in a sense. It's a lot more easier to. It's a lot more easier to share.
Right,
it's a lot more easier. You make a mistake. Oh, Control Z. Undo.
Sure.
So I believe there's definitely a lot of convenience with it, as well as, like you were saying, just time saving.
But you
can put in these macros and all these kinds of other things.
Let's follow up on what you just said, though, because I like that word, convenience. But look at what happens when convenience. Now you have digital, where now people can rip you off, because everything kind of started to look similar. I mean, I've seen digital artwork where one of the big things I've noticed with digital is I've noticed a lot of times the backgrounds all look kind of faded. It's just this thing where I've seen some stuff where I go, yeah, there's a lot of interest put into the foreground where you see this character, but then the backgrounds have almost a muted kind of look to them. That's something that I've seen. And also style-wise, where some of the nuances, like I'm not seeing people drawing stuff that has a nuance, say like Jack Kirby,
Hey, sorry about that, Matt.
a Jack Kirby kind of style. But I'm starting to see
Mhm.
styles that almost look almost similar. Oh, is that me?
No, sorry, Matt's back. He had gotten. I guess he got dropped out. I didn't realize he
Oh,
was
okay.
not in the chat there. Hey, Matt, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Uh
Oh, he
Nope.
dropped out again. Oh, yeah. But yeah, so that's the thing that when you look at it, I've seen some digital stuff where it's almost easy to replicate somebody's style. That was the whole
Mhm.
AI thing, where it becomes this thing where because the nuances aren't there, there's those little things that make art so unique onto each one. Like I'm not seeing people doing. I'm trying to think who would be John Burns style or George Perez or. I don't know. I mean, just those people that have those kind of styles that it'd just be hard for a digital kind of artist to be able to replicate that. Because it just has a nuance to it that's just like no, that doesn't look like their work. You know.
No, I totally get it. Real quick, just since we're on the point of like nuances and everything, do you
Mhm.
feel like the way that you brought your art style into this really helped really, I don't want to say shape the story, but do you think it helped fill in some of the way that the plot goes?
Um, hmm. My feeling is this: is that I'm somebody who was definitely inspired by Herb Trimpe. Herb Trimpe is someone who I got to meet a couple of times before his death, before he passed away, and I got to tell him how much his work impacted me. Herb Trimpe was the artist. He did the Incredible Hulk. He did a lot of stuff on the Hulk, but also for me, he impacted me with his work on the Shogun Warriors. The Shogun Warriors and the Godzilla comic books from Marvel Comics. I believe that was late 70s into the 80s. And one of the things I loved about his work was that it was fun. It just was this fun kind of style. Now, I've always been, the way my artwork has always been is that I felt that I've been super like detailed. I was always somebody who was always going through different things. I love doing a lot of heavy blacks in my work, but to my own detriment, because sometimes I would get too crazy, and that's when that whole thing where once we got reduced down, it would get so muddied and stuff. So I think that when the way I'm doing Kaijus Cowboys now, I'm taking a lot of stuff that I learned actually from film and animation, in the sense of moving the cameras around. I'm always trying to be conscious of the fact that I don't want people to get complacent while they're reading it. I want to give a sense that the camera's moving around, that there's close-ups, that there's pullaways, that there's different angles. I definitely want to make sure that people can see backgrounds. That's a very important thing to me. At least in some the panels, to make sure that the backgrounds are strong enough so people can have a sense of environment. So I would think that it definitely adds on to the story, builds up.
So let me ask you this: and do you have a favorite Western film, or a particular one you draw inspiration from, perhaps?
Oh boy, that's so tricky. There's so many.
I know, right?
I mean, starting from the Lone Ranger to the Wild Bunch to Duel Over Diablo. I mean, some of the newer ones. I mean, Clint Eastwood's Pale Rider is one that probably sticks in my head. The idea that famous scene where these lawmen, the bad lawmen, when they come into town and they're just walking, and these guys look like death. Pretty much, they got their dusters on, and they just lean. Some of the guys have skeletal look. I forgot the name of the actor, but I can see his face, and I just remembered there was such a powerful. There's a great pan of the camera where they're coming in, and these guys are just silhouette. They're almost silhouette. They're just blowing in the wind slowly, and I think of scenes like that when I'm thinking of Bwin, the Hunter bot. So.
That's cool. I love that motif. It really adds the atmosphere to the comic. But
I'm also paying homage to manga and anime because that was a huge influence to me. I mean, I grew up on, watching Mazinga Z. Getter Robo G, which was Star Avengers.
Old school stuff.
Yeah, the old school stuff. So
yeah, it sounds like it.
When I designed Bwin, and even how the aesthetics of some of the robots and stuff, I wanted to have that, like his ridiculously long hat. That was a nod to anime and to manga. The fact he has this massive jewel on the top of his in the brow of his hat and stuff, and he has like this dagger thing sticking out the top. Those are all nods to which one was it? Gun. Gun Heat? No, not Gun Heat. Gun Heat one is that something one? Gunbuster? Ah, there's an anime, and I can't think of it. Gun something. He was fighting the guy. I can see it in my head. I was watching it a couple of months ago where he shoots these vampires through this vehicle.
Whoa.
And I can't think of the name. Gun something.
Sounds gnarly.
But he has a massive the name. If it does come, I'm gonna shoot you guys I'm gonna shoot you guys something on Twitter where I'll say, yes, I got it. This is the one.
I mean, to be honest, the only vampire thing that I know of with cars or anything is honestly Vampire Hunter D.
Well,
So
Vampire
I mean,
Hunter D is a good example. That's a great one. But this one, I can't think. It has gun something in it, and I can't think of the name of it. Guns.
It's an anime with the word gun in it that doesn't include Gundam or Trigun.
Trigun. That's it.
No,
No, it's
really?
not Trigun.
Okay, never
No,
mind.
is it really Trigun?
No,
wait,
no,
wait,
it's
are you thinking
it's
about
not.
Van Helsing?
No, it's not
No,
Trigun. Hold on a
not
second.
Van
I'm
Helsing.
gonna
What's
look it
the
up.
one with the dude with
Yeah,
the
because
red
Trigun
coat?
doesn't hunt vampires. Anyway,
I
hi
I
everyone.
mean,
I think
if
it's
you're talking about ridiculously sized guns and vampires, yeah, but Helsing sounds
Helsing,
a good
yeah, that's what I
sounds
was
like a
thinking.
good
Yeah,
bet
maybe
for it,
Helsing.
but it doesn't sound like it, honestly,
Oh,
especially
really?
if it's older, because Helsing is like late
Hmm.
90s, I
Oh,
think like
okay.
99 or early 2000s when it actually started. It's just
Yeah,
that
it's
it was
not
such a
Gunhead.
banger, they had to make an anime out of it. So once when it was done, they came out with the OVA version, which is
So
the
Matt-
actual true plot of the entire
Yeah.
manga.
Matt,
I
are you
can't-
back then?
Yeah, I can't
I
even
believe
think
so.
what it is.
Yes. Anyway, sorry. I have the cursed luck of having 3 roommates who are all using the internet at once.
Oh God.
Well,
So-
Hey, no, I completely understand that.
I think it's because of your camera, like the map. It's your
That
camera.
too, so-
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go off. You've all seen my beautiful face already. So and you can see my face on the creator.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, let's get I know.
Any other
I'm there in
Matthew?
spirit.
right, so
Well,
what's-
now that you're back, I did want to ask
Yeah.
you about the plot of the comic. Since as the writer, I think you'd be a good person to tell us about what the comic is about, so people who aren't familiar with the other two issues can learn a bit about the comic.
Yeah. Okay. So the idea of the comic, like I'm big into like science fiction and like superheroes and all that stuff. I'm actually somewhat ignorant of kaiju and kaiju media. Like I made this book because I know Frankie's a kaiju fan, and I'm like, well, hey, let's come up with a kaiju story for you to draw. So one of the things I've been playing around with a lot, like I like the idea of like, post-apocalyptic stories are all the rage. And I like the idea of like humanity like leaving Earth for whatever reason, and like going out to the stars and encountering all the, all the wonders and terrors that the galaxy has to offer. And so, the idea behind this story is that Earth has been overrun by monsters, and so humanity builds these giant ark ships, and they sail out to the stars and look for a new home. And one of these ark ships, the ships are controlled by this artificial intelligence called Fathermind, which is the guy who built these ships and got everyone on board and all that. And so this ark finds a planet that's perfect for human life. And so it's in orbit around the planet, and it sends robots to do all the heavy lifting to prepare the planet for human habitation. Unfortunately, the planet is occupied by giant monsters, which is where the kaiju part comes in. And so, in response to that, like the whole thing, it's like a what's the word I'm looking for? It's sort of a call and response. It's like the kaiju come to attack the robots, and so Fathermind sends more robots down to fix everything and to track down and kill the kaiju. And so that's when the cowboy comes in. Yeah.
Oh.
And, yeah.
Oh, really?
A big inspiration for this is the idea behind what a kaiju story is and the idea behind what a cowboy story is. Because in a kaiju story, like in Godzilla, like I've seen the original Godzilla, so I'm not entirely ignorant. Like the original idea behind it is that humans are specks and we are at the mercy of these monsters. And the reason why these monsters exist is because we have done wrong. We screwed up. And this is the planet, this is nature fighting back. And like a kaiju is a cautionary tale. On the other hand, what is a cowboy? A cowboy is someone who goes out into the wilderness to, like it's very, human centric. Like, we're going to go out to the wilderness. We're going to bend it to our will. We're going to make it our own. And anything that gets in the way is just trash. So like there's that. So you have these two different stories and you have these two different ideas and they just play off each other so well. And it's like, who's right? Who gets to survive? And so, like, on one hand, you have this planet that's, that was doing just fine, and like it's reacting to these invaders. But on the other hand, you have, humanity. Like this is it. This is the only thing we have. And so we, like, in the name of survival, we are going to do whatever it takes. Well, we're going to build whatever robots we can to make it happen. So that's sort of like the big idea of the story. And the first two issues, cool. yeah. I mean, like, I'm lucky enough to have a job where I can just sit and think about this stuff for like 12 hours a day. So, like,
that sounds nice. Yeah,
this is where my mind goes.
Well, I love that concept. I really do, because it is like you said. It's like you want to be able to feel for both sides, and you really do a good job of laying that out. Where it is their natural habitat on the one hand. But on the other hand, humanity doesn't have a home to go back to. Like you said, this is their last chance. So they're not like they don't necessarily want to do it, but they have to in a way.
Yeah, and so issues 1 and 2, like we hint at it. Like there's a Star Wars-esque text crawl at the beginning of that, because I mean, like you got to get like the big broad picture stuff out of the way to get to the meat of the story, and like the first 2 issues, we introduce a character named Doc, who's like sort of like the audience surrogate of the series. Like he's the one that's like, what's going on? What is this? And like he has the whole thing explained to him, so the reader can understand what's going on as well. And like we made the choice early on that the bot with no name should be as silent as possible. Because it instantly, like, the less you speak, the cooler you are. And like we were determined to make the bot with no name as cool as we humanly could. So the first 2 issues are basically just like setting that up, setting the relationship between Doc and the bot with no name up. And in the second issue, we're introduced to the 3 other robots who have sort of the same job. They're the newer models, so to speak. Like, they're a little bit better at killing things than the bot with no name, but at the same time, they're a little more naive. They don't know what's going on, and like the bot with the bot is, he knows what's going on and he knows what to do. So he's sort of guiding them and helping them. So that's the first 2 issues. The third issue, I don't know what I want to say because I don't want to spoil too much of it. But
I can understand that.
All I'm going to say is this: when we were first creating this story, we sent it off to some people to take a look at and to get their thoughts on it. And one of the critiques that we had is that we run the risk of the bot with no name being too powerful. And they're kind of right. It's like he is designed to take on giant monsters and kill them relatively easily, and he does. So at the end of issue 2, we set something up where there's a threat that's so massive and so overwhelming that no one can handle this on their own. So and like like you see that on like this next page down, actually.
Oh, really?
There's something that's just so okay. Well, the next one, and like,
That it there at the bottom,
well, that
or is it you mean the next one that
it's
it's
maybe
not?
it's the next page up.
Yeah, maybe not
Actually,
on the page there.
yeah, there's something just so big and so massive that they
Mm.
can't take care of it on their own. So like the next couple issues, it's basically just a giant chase scene.
Well,
It's like,
I just want to elaborate because Matthew
Yeah.
brought up something saying about the bot. One of the things about thinking about with Bwin is that I'm a huge like fan of two-fisted justice, and so
Mhm.
I'm definitely not a person who like he's definitely not Goku. Never like that. So he's not like Dragon Ball Z. But the thing
oh yeah,
about
no,
it,
no, no, we don't
but
do
the thing about it is that he's capable, and I think that's one of the things about it that when people see the comics, they'll see the action. Like he actually one of the big things about it was that I was like, I don't want to show robots holding guns, even though I love the Terminator, and I've seen other stuff that has guns. I said, I personally don't understand why a robot holds a gun, because ideally it would be like Iron Man. Like if you're an automaton, you would have weaponry built into your body, and so that was one of the big things about him, where he has weaponry built in his body, and he has skill. And so the thing about it is like it's almost like Spider-Man, where like one of the reasons why Spider-Man is so capable is because Spider-Man takes his abilities, like his strength, agility, but but he also has his spidey senses. And the thing about it is that with his ability, I'm getting an echo.
Uh-oh. Let's
You
see.
guys
Say
hear?
something again.
Hello, testing.
Is that better?
Hello,
Huh.
hello.
Is that a
now
little
it's
better?
better. Yeah, it's better.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it
you
might have been
take
coming on his end there. Sorry about that.
so if you take a character like oh, see, it's coming again. Yeah, it's so weird.
Uh-oh.
So if you take a character like Spider-Man, and you can see him like battling the Juggernaut just for a little bit. Now I don't know if he could defeat the Juggernaut, but he will still be able to hold his own for a little bit, and that's how I think of Bwin, where Bwin, because of his skill, because of his capability of how he's able to handle what he has, what he works with, that's the bigger thing about him. That's what I appeal, because I'm definitely not a fan. I'm not a huge fan of like superpower. Like as much as I enjoyed reading One Punch Man, I like One Punch Man. I don't want to have characters where they can just punch one punch and then it ends it for the character.
It's not as fun, is it?
Yeah, I want people to root for the characters. I think that's one of the things. It's like that's one of the things I loved about Jack Kirby's Machine Man. The original Jack Kirby, and I stress that Jack Kirby's Machine Man, because I forgot what issue it was when they finally switched it over from him. Like they kicked him. I don't know if they kicked him off, but he was off the book and whatever. But the early stuff, Machine Man did stuff like he was capable. Like he could do things with his body. He could it was a lot of adventure. Like he would function and sort of work his way through certain obstacles and things like that. And I always found that so appealing. So anyway, that's pretty much Bwin.
What a great character.
I
I
will.
feel like. Oh, go ahead, Matt. You want? Yeah, go ahead.
I will comment this. I don't know if either of you have seen this, but my mom's boyfriend would watch this old Western show called Half Gun Will Travel.
Oh,
And
my
the
dad
way-
loved that
that-
show.
yeah.
the way you spoke about your robot number one, I was like, huh, that sounds totally like that main character where you don't know how good he is,
Yeah.
but the way everything plays out is that it's like when everything starts rolling, you're like,
Yeah.
he's good.
That's the
You know
classic
he's
trope.
good.
That's the class. But see, again, everything about this comic is various tropes. It's tropes that existed for years. So it's like the only thing different is that we created these are our characters and stuff like that. But we're definitely utilizing. I mean, it's like you think of Mandalorian. When I watch Mandalorian, I think of a Western. It's
totally.
a Western.
Yeah.
They're using classic tropes and stuff. Just like Star Wars, they use tropes, and we're just doing the same thing where, you have a character who's walking around and whatever, and no one really knows how capable this character is. But also, this character can get beaten down. He can get screwed. He'll scrap. And the same thing like Doc. They can scrap, but it's not like they can just go up and whatever. It's like I'll try to find ways to make sure that the battle scenes visually so that people can see what they're capable of doing, but not to the point where it's like, oh, this is so boring, that kind of thing. Because in my mind, I wouldn't enjoy that. Like I had a director once tell me, he said, Frank, he said, you know how to do a really good storyboard, sequence of storyboards? And I said, how? He said, well, you try to imagine yourself sitting in the movie theater watching what you just drew. Would you sit and watch it? And I said, wow. That always stuck with me. I said, yeah. And I'm always thinking of that. Like, when I'm looking at these pages, would I sit down and watch this?
Yeah.
Like real, and you have to be honest with yourself. You really, you got to be like, would I really sit there at a movie theater and watch what I just drew?
And sometimes if it's no, I guess.
Yes, then that means you got to change it up. You got to change it. You're like, nope, nah, I'm cheating. And I've done that. There's many times where I've been like, oh, I don't want to draw a city in there, but I'm like, that's cheating. That means that you have to draw the city now. No cheating now. No.
Yeah, it's the worst part about being an artist. You know when you're lying to yourself as well about things.
The worst feeling that I ever, and I even told Matthew this. I said, Matthew, I never want to feel like that we hand the book off, somebody gets that book, and I know in my heart that I didn't give 200%. I never want to have that feeling. It's like I can look at these books right now and I go, I've given everything I could. And that's all I can do. And that's what I'm happy about. If I didn't feel that, then I wouldn't be. There's no way I could sit here with a straight face and be telling you guys about this and be like, yeah, I'm just doing this and stuff. That kind of thing where you're so disconnected from it. Yeah, I'm just doing this, whatever. No. I'm trying to make something here. I'm trying to. Hopefully, some kid out there can look at it and go, I want to be an artist because I saw this book. You inspired me. I happen to like giant monsters. I'm gonna do a giant monster book. Oh, I love robots.
You're doing it for all the right reasons. I can tell.
That's the whole thing. So those are our stickers.
They look great, man. They look great.
Yeah, they look really nice.
And those are the actual other three.
We got
robots.
Doc here on the right, right?
Yep. We got Doc on the right. Yeah, we got Doc on the right. We got Bwin.
Good visual storytelling because I knew immediately that was Doc.
Well,
I love it.
Well, I wanted that piece right there. Those three stickers actually come together. So it's technically them going against that giant kaiju that's in the back.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And there we go.
Cover here.
That's book one.
Nice. Oh, that's the book one. Okay, that's book one.
There's in the chat. Dope Pope, the person who did this figure, he's in the chat.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for joining us. So yeah, we were just gushing about the figure earlier. It looks amazing. Oh, let's put that up on the screen.
We need to get more people. More people got to get this because I want Dope Pope to do more figures, man.
It's so cool, dude. And the size is amazing. You don't usually see that size. You know what I mean?
It's definitely worth it.
It's
definitely worth it.
Oh yeah, that's
fantastic.
Nice. The base plate, right?
The base, yeah. You got the base, and honestly, just get it and paint it up.
Right.
Paint it up any way you want.
It'll look badass.
Post it, and then we'll share it.
Yes, if you get anything from us and post it online, we will absolutely share it.
Yes. I love this figure. He did a fantastic job with this figure. So I'm really hoping that some more people will jump on the tier and get them because we definitely got. I mean, Dope Pope's known for his kaijus. So I personally want to see him do the wolf. The wolf the wolf kaiju is the one that you saw in the preview in the
trailer.
The trailer, yes.
Yeah.
That character.
That is cool. Well, you got to start with your main character.
Oh, you got to. And he did a fantastic job. I mean,
oh my god, yeah.
To me, it just shows his skills just overall that he's able to do humanoid characters. I mean, that is absolutely fantastic. Look at the wrinkling in the jacket and everything.
That's the thing. It's so detailed.
Well, nothing too was that when I told him, I ended up drawing like some turnarounds, and I said, well, I want you to do your version, so it's the Dope Pope exclusive. And actually, let's see what else. If people go for that reward tier, you get I end up doing a title card art.
Oh, that's cool.
Which I signed, and then in the back it's sort of like a fusion of both of our artwork.
That's so cool, yeah. So that comes with the figure when you pick that up.
And you also get some comics. You get 1, 2, and 3.
Nice. You get that's like the master collection right there.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the tiers then and see what people can
awesome.
get from all that, and because I know you guys got a lot of cool stuff on offer. So, of course, you can make a pledge without a reward if you're just feeling generous and want to make a donation. You can definitely do so as well.
And that'll take you directly to the add-ons, I believe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah,
That's
so
cool.
so because that's the way they have it set up. So you have to, if you make some kind of payment, say like $1, then that opens it up for you to go to the behind the scenes, to
Ah.
go to our general store, as we're calling it, to get some of the add-on stuff. So you can get like,
I love that. Yeah, the
Yeah.
general store. That's such a good name for it too.
Yep.
It's like you go, so $1 gets you in the general store. You can do any
Oh, there
add-on
you go. That's
one,
it. Yep.
and anything comes out. That's a very clever way to do it too, because like you said, it gets you access to any add-on. So if you
Yep.
really just want this or you just want that, it lets you mix and match and do what you really want with it
Yep.
at a low buy-in price, which is nice. Your general store.
Yeah,
Very, very
one of
clever.
the critiques we had after we did the second campaign was, people might just want a patch or just want like stickers or something like that, and we're like, all right, so
Yeah.
that's what it was.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I've not really seen that before, so I like that. That's a
Well,
clever one.
some people already got books. Say if somebody already got like the April one, like books 1 and
Totally.
2, then they definitely don't want to get it again. Which it'd be nice if they did, but they may just want to get 3. So we want to have that option available
Exactly.
for them. Yes.
Speaking of which, here's book 1, book 2 covers, and then I think we were showing book 3 earlier. I can bring that up here back in a second. But after the general store, we get into our first main category, which is the Kaiju fee. What we get here?
That is the digital, the prerequisite digital reward. So, like, if you just want to try out the book, or if you want to support us, you can just for just $5 you get the digital comic. It's not. I mean, like. The one of the downsides to being an indie creator is you can't work on economies of scale, unfortunately. And like Marvel and DC, the reason why the books like cost like only $5 is because like they can they can expect a lot. Of business, so therefore
exactly.
like
Volumes. Yep.
Yeah, so they
okay.
can print in bulk and they can sell in bulk, but which is why you see like indie books that are like like $10-15 a pop. So we're doing our level best to try to try to lower the price as much as possible while still making a little bit of money so we can keep making the books.
Yep.
But $5, it's a digital copy. It's about the price of what you would get for a big 2 book. If you want to give it a shot and support us, that's what you can do. Also, it's great for international backers as well.
Exactly. There you go. That's
international shipping is an absolute
Oh my God! Yeah, it seems to be getting worse and worse every year.
Yeah. But I mean,
that's great.
It works. Kudos to the Postal Service. They're doing their job and they're doing as well as they can.
Definitely, and we have to appreciate that for sure.
But yeah,
digital. Well, yeah, very good. So you start off with the digital, and then we move on to the deputy level. And what do we got in the deputy tier? Looks like that may be our first physical copy of issue number 3. Is that right?
Well.
Yes. Yep. Look at that.
Yep.
The print.
Oh.
That's issue number 3, and if you want to,
That's just so funny because
God, I get to see this all day. Like,
well, it's just so funny because I didn't even put the connection of the B-Win name. It's like that's bot with no name. I was like, I was like, oh, I get it now. that's great.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do an internal schematic for a robot. So what happened was I took Dope Pope, like he sent me some shots of the figure, like he had designed it, and I said I'm gonna try to do a internal mechanism. So I did the internal mechanism drawing all in Photoshop.
Really? Oh wow.
That's all Photoshop, yeah. And that's Photoshop and imagination. Trying to
imagine. Yeah, there's a lot of that going into it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like that's how they did the old school robot shows.
Oh
man.
yeah, I remember getting to that as a kid.
Yeah.
You would get the book and you like, got the schematics. You're like, that's so cool. You look at it all up and stuff. Yeah.
It's the Star Wars.
Yes.
Yeah, you see the cutaways. Like I always loved those when I was a kid.
Oh, those are great.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, the $10 reward. That's the physical copy of issue 3. And like I was saying, between printing and shipping costs, it does, uh, you know, raise the price a little bit. But you're supporting indie comics. You're buying a story, as Frankie so eloquently put it. Like you're
there you
buying the history as well, and yeah.
You're being a part of that history because you helped making it happen.
Well,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah, that's a really good way of looking at it.
Well, that's what we call our readers writers. I think that's the terminology. I love using that because I thought about it and I said, yeah, it's like people are riding along with us. You are riding on this journey. This is a journey.
That's cool
For us. It's like, and we're going down, new territories. And there's a lot of like when you try to imagine when you go on these massive journeys, there's going to be all kind of little things that blockades, little things that get in the way that you may stumble or whatever. But we're going to constantly, if we all stick together, we can make it to that finish line. And the finish line for us will be the first 12 issues of this, getting it done. That's going to be the big thing. So again, our writers, once you have gotten the books or anything from our campaigns, you've become a writer. Now you're part of this, and we want you to keep writing with us. Become
part of the Kaijus and Cowboy family.
Yes,
Absolutely,
ride with us, man. We want writers, man. We want people to saddle up with us, ride with us on this journey.
That's great. Well, I love that you guys really respect and have a love for your fans. It really shows that you are, like I said earlier, like you're in it for the right reasons.
Yeah, we can't. We won't even. How can we do this thing without the fans? We just couldn't. I mean, we can sit in a corner and both say how great it is. We can both be like, "Yeah, this is some great stuff you're doing," and just staring at the artwork. But I mean, it's really until people have gotten it in their hand, because I think people have forgotten that that's the basis of comic books. When comic books first came out, it really was about fans. It's about people who looked at it and said, "Wow, that's Superman, dude!" And they started talking about it and whatever, and then they built it up. Because honestly, if nobody bought into Superman or any of that stuff, it might be a different kind of, same thing for manga. If people didn't like be into it, then what would you have? You wouldn't have anything. I don't even know what you would have. It'd be weird. It'd be like this weird. That's for sure. Yeah, it'd be very different. So we definitely appreciate the fact that people have decided to look at our campaign to contribute to it. It definitely inspires us to keep going and to keep making stuff. Like also another thing too, and this is just another side thing. We signed with an indie gaming company, so we're looking at having an RPG. Fingers crossed out by next year.
Oh man!
Yep.
So there's a lot of little steps, a lot of little things that's going. So we got this beautiful figure by Dope Pope. Dope Pope has already said he wants to do some more stuff. So we need the fans. We need people to come in here and help us and support us. We are not going anywhere. Well, we got a lot of ideas. Hopefully, but they can see by our customer service and how we're getting stuff out to people that we are the real deal. That we're not out here trying to play games with people or anything like none of that nonsense. We want to create comic books. We want you to read our comic books, and we want to have figures. And so that if you like the figures, you can figure on demand. We can have figures for you, and then once the RPG game comes out, then hopefully we'll have people that get into the RPG and all that fun stuff. So
that'd be so cool. Can you imagine seeing that on Steam?
You can read the adventures of the bot with no name, and then you can make your own.
We need you. We need you. And this is without the fandom, I don't know. So
that's a really nice message.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that. That's really heartfelt. I can tell that. And I wish you definitely all the luck, man, on this campaign.
Yeah, you have to be passionate about this sort of thing, and I'm not going to say you have to be obsessed, but it helps a little bit because, we've been creating Frankie and I have been creating comics for 9 years, about 9 years together, and it's always good to be business minded. It's always good to have a sense of yes, we need to make income, and we need to do that so we can put more money back into the series, and so we can survive as well. And you absolutely do need to. People should absolutely be of the mindset. It's this is a job. This is something we're doing. Yeah. But at the same time, if you're in this just for the money, if you're in it just for like
Yeah.
to make a quick buck, you're not going to survive.
No.
You have
you're
to be like, you
Hmm.
believe in this. This is something I believe in. This is something I want to see out in the world. This is something I want to share with the world.
Yeah.
And so like it's the balance. Like Frankie and I talk about this all the time. Like you got to find a balance between being passionate and being professional.
Well, it's also it's also like there was some for me, and I know it's like maybe it's because my birthday was last week. I just turned 53, and one of the things about it is that I've been really since turning 50, my sense of my own mortality. I'm not saying I'm doom and gloom or any of that stuff, but it's just that it's back in the back of my mind where I had this epiphany where I said I don't want to leave this world and just be known for drawing Godzilla. Godzilla doesn't need my help. I don't. Transformers don't need my help. They don't. They're doing fine on themselves. When am I gonna leave this planet if my time ever comes up? Now, clearly, we've seen some great artists that have already left this world, man. Some sooner than others.
True. So
much
true.
sooner than they should. And I mean, and it's one of those things where you start really taking a step back and you go, what do I want to be known for?
Yeah.
And I'm at that place. Honestly, I'm at that place right now where I want to be known for something that I've had my hand in, that I'm part of, so that whatever the case,
That's all yours.
people can be like, "Yep, that dude did that. He did it. He was working. They did it together. They made this thing happen." That to me would be the right there, the cherry on top.
That's the dream right there.
Yeah.
Because again, it doesn't mean that I don't like Godzilla or Gamera or any of that stuff. Of course I love it. I grew up on that stuff. But the thing about it is that that's owned by somebody else, and I think that's a key thing for many creators out there have to understand, that this is an ideal time right now for you to really start doing some soul searching. Because the thing about it is that while you're trying to draw somebody else's character owned by them, that you really have no control over. Yeah, fine, you may get paid in the short run and work on it and stuff like that, but you, in the end, you don't own anything of that character. Think about what happened to the people in the past who made decisions like that or moved too slow, and they never took that chance to just take the reins in their own hand. I think this is our time, man. This is the time. You can feel, it's so weird, you can feel in the air, man. A lot, and I'm saying across the board, there's a lot of people doing stuff, things, animation. I just saw a Kickstarter where it was for some cat animation. I want to see if I can find it. But
Iron.
Yeah, the Prohibition.
Yeah,
with the cats, right? Yeah, they just got
Prohibition
like what,
with
2
cats?
million?
Iron Circus.
Yeah.
Iron Circus.
They just got like what, 2 million or whatever.
Whoa.
They weren't even asking for that much, and what they did was they just
Crazy,
did their
bro.
animation, put it on a YouTube channel. People liked it. They end up doing a crowdfunder, and now
my
they were
God.
like, yeah, we want to do a full on film, and all of a sudden, bingo bango, and I'm like,
Dang.
that's it. We need to start changing our programming and saying, I can create something that could be my thing, and then go out there and put your energies toward that.
Hey,
And
man,
see what happens.
video
See
game
what happens.
next year, maybe animation in the future. Who knows?
We don't know.
Hey,
That's
that'd be
the
really
fun-
nice. Keep putting that out to the universe. That'd be
Right?
That's the
really
fun
cool.
thing. That's the fun thing about this, though. It's like a roll of the dice. It's like no one knows how something's gonna be until it's out there, until it gets out there, and then no one knew what the Ninja Turtles would be. I remember when the Ninja Turtles were out there. Those guys didn't have no internet. They were hitting the shows,
Wow.
and there were people out there looking at that going, man, I don't know, 4 turtles. They don't even look like turtles.
They
there's
eat
people out
pizza.
there.
What?
Yeah, and then all of a
And,
sudden, something came. Like that guy came who had the vision and said, "Oh, look, I think this could be a great IP for toys or whatever." And bingo bango just flew off like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that's just one story.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
I mean, building off of what Frankie said, my biggest pet peeve about the state of modern entertainment is that we are like the big ones, like not the indie creators, the big names, the people like you see, like your Netflixes, your the Amazon, all like the big studios. There's this massive nostalgia kick. Like that's the big word. It's like, we're going back to the past. We're going to mine all these old IPs for we're gonna bring that back. It's like I mean.
See, think alike, Michael. Me, I was saying the same thing to him. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
And it's not like, even the horrible stuff either. It's like, I can understand if you're going to go mine IPs. Maybe go for a movie that didn't do so well, that was horrible back then, and then maybe try to make it better. I can understand
the example I always give is Stranger Things. It's like
Stranger Things. Yeah, Stranger Things is amazing. I love that. But
it's a great show. But it's like it's like the 80s was like the last time anything of any value was created. It's like no, that's not the case.
It's like the nostalgia factor for the 80s.
There's a lot of horrible movies that came, or horrible things that were just like, man, they were bad. Where I'm like, why don't just maybe go take that and dust it off? Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Maniac Cop redone.
They should do a Freakazoid. That'd be great. Yeah. Refresh the new superheroes with Freakazoid. Everybody would probably leave there going, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
But my main question with this whole thing is like, okay, you're bringing back all this stuff from the past, and it's good. But what are our kids? What are the future generations going to be nostalgic about? It's like like it's like this defeatist mindset where it's like we can't come up with anything good. It's like can I swear?
Yo, definitely.
It's bullshit. It's like it's absolute bullshit that like we are living in a new golden age of creativity, and it's like the good news is anyone can make something and put it out there and like and be successful. The bad news is, of course, anyone can make something and put it out there and try to be successful. So like Anyway, that's my
thing. I see what you mean. It is a good point.
Well, the new Godzilla trailer just dropped, and it's been all over the internet and stuff.
Godzilla Zero, I believe.
Godzilla Zero, right?
Yeah.
And so I sat there and I actually was like, I had a moment where I said, yeah, it looks good, but then again, I feel like Godzilla's entering in that same realm that Batman, with Warner Brothers and Batman, where there's always a Batman movie. Where to the point where I'm almost exhausted with Batman. I'm just exhausted. Like, I'm sitting there going, you got all these other characters. Like, Toho has all these other characters that they could do, but they're going back to the Godzilla.
Yeah, it is interesting. By the way, I'm slight correction. I guess it's called Godzilla -1. Sorry,
-1. But again, there's a part of me where I speak about that fear of, like, I go, so let's just say in the next generation or so, what happens when Godzilla stops being relevant and there's nothing else to back it up? When it's the same old stuff, the same thing. Because eventually they're gonna be like, well, how many times are you gonna tell that story?
Yeah.
We already saw Shin Godzilla, and that was the one version of it, and it's like there's gonna come a point where people are just gonna get exhausted with it. That's why I loved when Cloverfield and when the host came out, then Cloverfield came out, which I contribute to a lot of the stuff that's going on now. Was Cloverfield, an original character, giant monster movie that came out that sort of kickstarted all this big monster craze, and then Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Something that was so OC, original character, that came out and dared to challenge the fact to say, okay, look, yeah, you can still like the legendary stuff, but hey, why don't you just explore the option.
I see. Yeah, you're right. We don't get to see the kaiju medium beyond much of the Godzilla stuff these days.
That's where we're at. We're OC. We're not the only ones. I mean, we're just one. We're just one of a few other creators out there that are doing original kaiju kind of related stories and stuff like that. But again, because it's not Godzilla or it's Gamera or anything like that, we almost get kind of like we're on the left side of the field with our lights out. Oh yeah, we have a variant cover done by Daniel Mead. It's definitely a steal from the actual
I was gonna say that looks like the trailer, right?
Yeah, the trailer. Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So that's a variant cover that
still looks very nice.
It does, dude. It really just goes to show you, like how high quality the trailer was.
It
'Cause I
really-
remember the trailer is like the production value is very nice and it looks very
He
clean.
did. Hey, look at he did a fantastic job. And I'm like, can you imagine? I want to see how Dope Hope does this character.
Oh,
Because
Yeah,
I really,
that'd be great.
I really, the aesthetics of the characters, I really wanted to make them so bizarre, so
can I ask you
unique.
something?
Sure.
You ever? This is kind of a random question, but have you ever considered making like a tabletop role playing game book set in the world of Kaijus and Cowboys? Because I just feel like it would
Well,
meld so well.
I think that one of the things about it, again, we just signed with this gaming company,
Oh yeah,
so
totally.
that's a possibility.
Right?
And
Oh, that'd be
there's
so
a
good, man.
there's a
I love it,
possibility for
dude.
Yeah, sure.
I
sure,
would love that because it's such a, it's
Yeah.
such a fertile world. Like you got the RPG coming out next year,
Sure.
potentially, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be seeing
One-
that next year. And
One of the things about it is that, again, this is it's a two person operation and stuff, and so we're really trying to be. There's that caution too, because I see a lot of people sometimes, and this is something I learned from my first experience with Robot God Akamatsu, is that when me and James were working on it, we were interviewed by overseas. We had a person build a suit, an actual
Oh, shoot.
cosplay of our character.
Really?
We were
That's
featured.
wild.
We were featured at Rhode Island Comic Con as a mascot for the show. I mean, we were being interviewed by people. We were doing all these big things. It came at us at 100 miles per hour. And what happened was we weren't ready. And I remember my teacher, one of my mentors once told me, one of my teachers said, he said, Frank, the thing about it is that these doors open. But sometimes it's like, you got to be careful. You just got to be careful that it's the right door that opens. Because if you get the wrong one and you're not ready for it, it can be overwhelming. It becomes this overwhelming thing. That's why I see a lot of people sometimes who put so much pressure on themselves, where they're just like, I'm trying to make the perfect thing, and I'm going to make these toys. And it's like, you got to understand that just the production of a comic book in itself is a massive job. That's a big job. Now you're talking toys. That's a big job. Now you're talking games. That's a big job. And the thing about it is that if you don't have that sort of structure established to sort of maintain, to make sure everything is kind of working and functioning in sync with one another,
it can fall apart.
it's going to fall apart. And then all of a sudden, that's when you start having the stress levels rising. And that's when you start seeing mental issues, where people start having like these breakdowns, which does happen. Because they put too much on their plate. Their plate is overfilled. Now they can't handle all this extra stuff. They can't handle all the distribution, taxes, all the other little nuances that a lot of people tend not to really talk about when they're dealing with these things. Where it's like, you got to understand that taxes have to be done. There has to be distribution. There has to be all these wonderful things while you're still creating something. So again, to me, I feel like if at the pace that we're going, anything's possible. But we just got to make sure that mentally that we're at a
ready
place where
for
we're
it.
comfortable
Okay.
and you're ready for it.
Yeah.
And the main
Smart,
thing
man.
really,
You're really taking a lot of time to think about it, right, man?
yeah.
That's
And the
really
main thing
smart.
really for me is the comic book. The comic book is the main thing.
Yeah.
So that's what my
Not lose
focus
sight
is.
of that. Yeah.
Exactly. Because like I said, because of Robot God Akamatsu not making it, it's like a stain that's still, because I still have people that contact me. Hey, how you doing, Frank? What's going on? So what's going on with Robot God Akamatsu? And I'm like, and then immediately I'm sending them to Kaijus Cowboys. Because I know that they're not being mean about it, but they really love that thing, and then
And
it's
for you, it's
gone.
like,
it's that chapter is closed, and now this is the new chapter, and so I want to see Kaijus and Cowboys succeed. You don't know how bad I want it. I want to get to that 12 issue. I want to prove that it can be done, and then we can take it to the next level. So I'm on a mission. I'm just to the people out there listening to this and watching this. I'm on a mission to succeed with this.
Well, the dedication and passion is going to definitely, hopefully, see you through this, man. 'Cause
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate it, and
We've gotten this far. This is our 4th campaign.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
The 4th campaign, and you guys have made success all times, or did you? What
Yes.
happened with really?
Every
Okay,
last
so
one
what
of
was the Because this is the 3rd issue then for Kaijus and Cowboys. So what was the 4th campaign for then?
It was the 0 teaser issue.
Oh,
We did a 0
okay.
issue, which we never
Interesting.
released again. We won't release
Whoa,
it again.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, that was exclusive, man.
that was exclusive. Yes.
Wow, that's cool.
So yes, there was a 0 teaser
Yeah,
issue.
true collector item for people.
True. And speaking of collectors, I mean, how big you're on that, man. So that
Yeah.
was fun for you.
Well, the cool thing about this is that for the campaign, me and Matthew sat down and talked about it because, again, we're always learning the little nuances. Things is that the books that you get on the campaign won't have numbers on them. Well, issue 3 will have the number of the comic book inside of it, so it'll be issue 3. It'll tell you what issue 3 is. But then after the campaign's over, then we're gonna go into print on demand, and the print on demand is gonna have the numbers on them, the numbers and stuff like that.
Okay, so it gives you a little bit of a set exclusive, that kind of pristine cover look.
Exactly. So these you're the people who go on the campaign, you're getting collector's editions, first editions.
Nice.
And there you go.
And speaking of which,
we
just
wanted to.
Oh,
We
sorry,
wanted
go
to
ahead.
do whatever we could to make the backers feel special. Also, you get this is going to be. Is it going to be one of the only places you can get custom kaiju art from you, Frankie?
Yes,
or?
yes. For the commissions,
Yeah.
yes. We have the commission tier for the sketch covers, and I have one of the sketch covers here. So this is how the sketch cover looks.
Oh, let's see. Hold on, let me put that up here.
Yeah, it was a hit. It was a hit on the last campaign. I was drawing
sketch covers.
I was drawing people's characters. Some people had me draw characters from Kaijus Cowboys, but I drew somebody's character for them. So
Did you get any Godzilla requests?
not this time around.
Okay.
I have gotten them. I got Ultraman. Ultraman.
That's
for
a
the
good
sketch
one.
card.
That's a fun one.
Well, because I worked on the Ultraman set, so I don't have
that's
the
dope.
card. Let me see where that.
That's awesome, dude.
Oh, I can't find the card. Darn it.
So that's kind of perfect for you then.
Yeah, it was perfect. So yeah, they were like, "Hey, can you draw Ultraman as a cowboy?"
Nice.
So that was kind of cool. So yeah, so we have the tiers up there for
cool, dude.
the for the
So
commission.
when you get the
sketch cover.
sketch tier, do you get to choose? You just get to choose, like, they get to choose what goes on the cover then, or?
Yes.
Oh wow, okay,
Yes.
nice.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
great.
it's pretty open. It's Kaijus and Cowboys. So you can, yeah. But I would say, to me, I always tell people it's kind of fun when people have fun with it. So it's more like you want Gamera dressed as a cowboy, or or your own character. Like I said, the last
That'd be
campaign
cool,
in
yeah.
April, I actually did somebody's character. So
That'd be really fun, yeah.
I did Hellboy. Yeah, there was a Hellboy commission as a robot. That was fun. Yeah, they were like, "Hey, Frank, draw him as a giant robot." So I said,
That's so
"Okay,
cool,
great."
like that you can
Yeah.
be so creative with the sketch covers.
Oh yeah, I want to have fun with it, and I want the people to have fun with it, and it's original artwork from me.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It is
You get the
the ultimate symbol of luxury these days. Like what is considered to be like high class and like luxurious these days changes all the time. But these days, it's all about personalization and custom
Thomas
things
Perkins.
and stuff that you get to own. And this is also really exciting. The print you see on the screen is done by a gentleman by the name of Thomas Perkins,
A pinup.
who
That's
has
the pinup.
done work. Huh?
That's the pinup.
Yeah, the pinup. We're
That's the pinup
including
in the
that
book. Yeah.
in all of the books. It's by Thomas Perkins, and like the guy's resume is insane.
Really?
He's done work for everyone, like Ben
Oh, wait a
10,
sec.
I think is the big one.
Wait a sec.
Oh,
Matthew,
wow.
Matthew, it's supposed to be only in 3.
Oh,
Issue 3.
it's well, yeah, no, yeah, like anyone who gets issue 3 gets that in the book.
The pinup, yes.
Yeah,
Right.
sorry,
I don't
sorry,
want people to misquote you and they'd be like, "Oh my God, where's the rest of them?" I'm like, no, they don't got them.
But yeah, no, it's
But yeah.
just in issue 3. Anyone who gets
Yes,
issue
there you
3
go.
gets this
Yep.
pinup.
There you go.
It was pretty spontaneous, right?
Yeah, well, what happened was I got his sketchbook because I love Thomas' work, and I said, "Oh man, Thomas, I'm gonna get your sketchbook." And so he said, "All right, Frank, what do you want me to draw in it?" Because he had a thing on his page for the drawing.
Hey, Dopo.
I said draw Bwin. I said, if you don't mind drawing Hunter Bwin. And what I did was I sent him one of the early drawings of Bwin where he had 2 horns. So the version you see right here today is the one with the 1 horns. So I sent him some stuff with the 2 horns. I said, "Hey, have fun with it, man." And so he was like, he said, "Frank, I'm gonna draw a bigger picture." So I said, "All right, cool." So he did that, and I loved it. So I have the original piece of artwork, so in my collection. So then what happened was I kept looking at it, and I said, "Man," I said, "this would make a great pinup in the comics." So I said, "Well, let me first ask him if it'll be okay." And he said, "Sure." He said, "Sure, Frank, not a problem."
Wow.
So I said, "All right, Matt." I said, I asked him. He gave me permission. And so so we're gonna see that in the
That
comic.
is really cool.
So yeah.
Well, that is a good story. I love that, and it does look
Yeah.
really nice. Gives me kind of like a Lovecraftian vibe to it, you know.
Well, you're talking about the guy who worked on Ben 10. He
Oh,
worked.
true,
Yeah,
yeah.
he worked on Ben 10.
Some
What
of the
was
best
it?
monster designs of
Yeah,
all time, you
yeah.
know.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I believe, and
Oof.
yeah.
So he knows
very,
his monsters.
it's just I'm very fortunate that I've had a chance to meet a lot of different people. I think as when I in my career, I've met a lot of different people, and they've always known that that I'm very passionate about the stuff I do and whatever. And so since Kaijus Cowboys has come out and stuff, people have just been sort of contacting me saying, "Hey, what's up, Frank? How you doing? This looks really cool. Is there any way that we can kind of work with you or something or whatever?" And I'm like, "Hey, let's do that," because I think that's another big thing about it is that my teacher once told me, said, "Frank, the art industry isn't a big industry. And it's big, but it's kind of small because then you start meeting people who what I call the A-B game level. That means people who are highly skilled. They know what they're capable of doing. All you do is just say, hey, boom, can you do this? And you point them in a direction, and they know what to do. And that's what I love. I love people like that because they inspire me as well, you know. And so, a lot of stuff. You're gonna be seeing some stuff, more stuff coming.
Well, yeah, you guys have a lot of really cool perks, you know, from the pinup to the alternative cover and everything. And
thank you.
you know,
Thank
speaking
you
of which,
very much.
oh, you're very welcome. We can go on to the next tier here. I believe we stopped here at the deputy level, so
Yep.
let's check out the next one here,
Okay.
which is the Kaiju Rodeo.
Yep.
That's a fun name.
Matthew thinks of these names, man. He's good. He's good.
Yeah, something vaguely Western, something intriguing, and something that makes you curious.
Right?
So, yeah,
I'm
I've
intrigued.
seen so many Kickstarter campaigns where it's just here's what you get, here's the reward tier, enjoy, and but no, I really enjoy the ones that have fun with it. So that's what I want to go on with.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, the Kaiju Rodeo, that's all three of the books, and like every good bulk deal, you get a discount because if one issue's $10, then you get $5 off of one. I think also the shipping costs are substantially less for this one as well. So it pays to buy in bulk.
And this one is the first backup tier, catch-up tier, correct?
There's that one. And if you go to the next one, the Yeehaw bundle, and if you get to the next one, it's issues 1, 2, and 3, but then we throw in a blank cover variant, the blank cover variant you saw of issue 3. And the reason why we did that is because we want to see your art as well. We want to see what you guys think of the book, and we want to see your kaiju artwork.
Exactly. Yes.
So, if you get this, and like we said before, if you get this and you feel compelled to draw something, and tag us on Twitter, we will absolutely share it. And we will not. One thing we will absolutely not do is scrape it for any sort of AI image generation or anything like that. It is your book. It is your art. We want to help spread the word of kaiju. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So it's kind of like you get to be, involved and do your own sketch cover.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or you could send it off to someone else and pay them to do something for you as well. I said.
Ideally, ideally, I would love to see people drawing our characters because I think that's the key thing. I mean, once they start reading the stories and stuff like that, then they can find out who the characters are. Whatever. I think that the 3 new characters that we're introducing in issue 3, people are gonna be like, "Whoa, man, these guys are really cool," and they maybe want to try to draw those characters. The 3 new Hunter bots. So it's like that would be the ideal. Like I would love to see somebody's other people's interpretations of B-Win or Dark, even the strange kaijus that we have in this world and stuff like that. That would be the ideal. But again, sky's the limit. Whatever you feel comfortable that you want to draw, we just want to see artwork.
Yeah, I mean, it's a philosophical thing as well because, on one hand, like there are creators that are like super picky about who gets to work on their ideas and their IP. That's not something I agree with. It's like, once you put something out there, like it does belong to you, but at the same time, like everyone has the right to put their own spin on it as well. Like, I mean, like I love fan fiction, I love fan art, and it's like, and like, there are limits to it as well. Like, I mean, copyright exists for a reason, but at the same time, it's like, the best stuff occurs when you have multiple people throwing in their own ideas and their own interpretations of it. So like that's what I want to see.
Yeah, same here.
So
Well, that's
yeah.
awesome. I like that. That's a really nice perk. I've not seen that one before. You guys have a lot of original stuff here, it seems.
Yes.
Yep. Well, I mean that ties back into it. It's like, so many people who know Frankie, they're like, hey, this is really inspiring stuff. Like, let me put my own spin on it. And it's like, absolutely, please do. Thank you.
And another thing is that we wanted to streamline. I mean, the way the way the page is now, we've definitely tried to streamline it so that now people can just sort of go right through it, and they can see everything and just be like, boom. So there's no surprises. Like, I've seen Kickstarters where you keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It's like 1,000 different things on there, and it's like it gets confusing. Like, I'm like, where's the book? Looking for the book and stuff like that. So we wanted to make sure everything was kind of simplified enough so that people can just immediately grasp it. Like this one right here, where if you are that kind of collector who wants to have like an original, like I believe that's the signing, us to sign, autograph the comics for you.
Yep.
That's that tier. Yeah.
That's the next one there, the Kaiju Rancher.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's all 3 books this time.
That's
like
all 3 books get signed. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice, man. That's awesome. I love a good autographed book. Usually you can only get those at conventions, so it's kind of nice that you can offer those on the campaign.
Exactly. And the thing is that again, it's because me and Matt don't live in the same zip code, so we're talking
that's tough,
a lot.
man.
It's really back and
Ooh.
forth. Yeah. Well,
Man, I
that's why we got
appreciate that
technology.
effort, man.
Yeah, that's what. Well, that's why the technology. We got the technology. It helps us. It bridges that gap when it's utilized
nice,
right.
man. It's amazing that you can, 2 creators from 2 different places can come together, make a comic together, put it out, and yeah, it's not something you could have done back in the day,
Well, one of the key things too is that we talk, we communicate on the phone. Matt calls me, I call him, so we utilize technology for what it's supposed to be used for. I think that
partnership.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's one of those things where if you truly want to do a good collaboration, you got to learn to talk to one another. They can't there's a point where emails can't, they just won't do it. You got to be able to talk to somebody, because the reason why we talk to each other on the phone is that we have to remind each other that we're human. Because we become so comfortable in just spouting out into the void. So when you send an email, you're just spouting out into this void called the internet. And sometimes I think people can tend to forget that there's a human being on the other side, because you're just spouting off what you go, oh, well, I just wrote this thing, and whatever. And then it could be, you don't know how it's going to affect the person who's reading it or whatever until, unless you are actually there with them to see them experience whatever they're experiencing. So I think that it's important that, you need to get on the phone sometimes and talk to people and communicate with them, so that they can hear your voice, you can hear theirs, and you can understand and whatever, that whole thing. I hope that's something that never gets too old or antiquated.
True collaboration, yeah.
Yeah, it's important.
That's
it's
great.
definitely an important thing. All right, Roundup bundle.
Roundup bundle. That's a good one. Okay, so what we got in the Roundup bundle?
Well, it's okay. The Roundup bundle, that is, hold on. Sorry.
I know it says, I think it's delayed, probably. So.
Yeah. A little bit.
I think it's
Roundup
physical
bundle.
copies, a print copy. You get the print, and then a copy issue 3 with Daniel Mead. So that's the one you get, the Daniel Mead variant cover. Oh yeah, so you get a bunch. You get like the 1, 2, and 3. You get the print, and then you get a copy of issue 3 with that cover. Yes.
So this one here, this is the cover, the variant cover.
So you'll
And
get
then let's show off the original cover. So here's the variant cover.
Yep.
And then if we scroll way back up here past the art
you get the print.
of the comic.
There you
Actually,
go.
let me scroll faster.
There you go. And there you go. That's the actual cover of the comic.
That's the main standard variant, or not variant,
Yeah.
but standard issue cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
That's a
Now,
good deal,
real
yeah.
quick, before we transition to the next tier, just a quick question: are the covers that you're showing for the campaigns, for the current campaign, going to be also your retail version, or is it just your?
Well, the big difference is that the numbers are going to be on the outside for the retail version. So
Yes.
there is going to be a difference because like we said, we want to make the Kickstarter comics feel special. So like with that being said, I believe only the main covers are going to be sold outside the Kickstarters. The variant covers are going to be
Only in the campaigns.
only in the campaign. So
Yes,
like the Daniel Mead cover, you're not going to find that
Yeah.
anywhere else. It's
Yeah.
it's just going to be here.
That's what I was thinking. That's actually my next question. Yeah, so that
Yep.
answers my question.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, cool. So the variant cover, which makes sense. The variant cover is gonna, if you really want to get that variant cover, then this is the time to pick that
Yeah.
up.
Exactly.
The two big things that you get when you donate to the Kickstarter are exclusivity, and you get it before it goes online.
Yep.
You get it before it goes out to the world. So you're getting it first, and you're getting special stuff that you can only find here.
Yep.
And as we mentioned earlier, also get to be part of that creating.
Yeah,
helping
absolutely,
get to creation.
absolutely. Because like this is something Frankie and I talked about. It's like we don't it's not very fair to ask someone to pay X amount of dollars for a Kickstarter campaign and then turn right around and say,
Exactly.
"Oh, you can get it on this website for less," and it's the same thing. It's like that's not very nice, and that's not very fair.
Right, that makes sense.
So like we do absolutely want to do what we can to make the Kickstarters feel special.
Exactly.
Which
Okay, that's
goes
cool.
very, very nicely into the next reward, which is the Kaiju Tracker, which is where you can get this. This is the first of the custom artwork tiers. You get
sketch cards.
yeah, we get these. We have these special 2.5 by 3.5 inch
There you go.
cards, and Frankie has quite a few exampals of those.
Right
Like
I actually have the card right here. I'm holding it up.
Oh really? Oh, let me
there
let
you
me
go.
put that up on the screen there.
let's work the magic.
I know the light's so bright. But yeah, this is like the fish. Yeah, I know it's so shiny. Oh, this
But
camera.
like I've handled a lot of these over the last couple of campaigns I've done. Like these are really nice. Like they're thick.
32 point black, which is a
fantastic,
nice thick cardstock.
Yeah, quality and
That's cool, dude.
yeah.
I love
when
a good sketch
when I
card,
get them
you know?
from Frankie, it's like they're put in their own little like protective card sleeve. So
Yes,
I take care of you. Yep.
durable.
Oh yeah, I take care
That's
of you, man.
what's up.
Yep, we don't mess around.
No.
We don't mess around. No.
That's so cool, man. I love that. Like I said, I love sketch cards, so that's a fun tier.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's whatever you want from them. Although, like we do have some limits. It's like a single character and
Some
a
limited
limited
environment. Yeah.
but
Mhm.
like one of the things we do like right after each campaign ends is like we'll send like I'll send the email addresses of the people who backed it to Frankie, and he'll
Yeah.
reach out to you and it'd be like,
Exactly.
hey, what are you looking for on your card? So like it's we have that communication.
Yep.
We have that. It's about great customer service, getting it out quickly,
Yep.
efficiently, and making quality work.
There you go. That's it.
Well, that's a good way to do it, man. I like that.
Yep.
All right.
And then we move on. Looks like we got down to our last few tiers. Here we got next up the Kaiju Bounty Hunter.
And that should be
Yep.
the
And yeah, this was the like we were talking about the rewards, and we wanted something
Oh. We lost him.
like
Oh.
The tension is killing me, man.
I know. I think this is for the
Hello?
sketch. This is for the sketch cover, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. I think that's a sketch cover tier.
Matt, you're breaking up
Yeah.
there for a moment. But yes, okay. That's the sketch cover where you are the
Yeah.
one drawing it, correct?
Yeah, I'm drawing it.
Yeah, yeah. Instead of having the community draw, this one's
Yeah.
the one
So
where
you're
you put
so
spin
yeah.
on
So
it.
you're commissioning me. A person would be
Mhm.
commissioning me, and so they're black. So yeah, this would be a black and white commission. Usually when I do black and white, I use hot, cold, gray tones and stuff like that. So it's not just black and white ink. I tend to add gray tones onto it and stuff like that. If people are interested for color, usually what I do is I'll send out an email and I'll say, well, this will be what the additional cost would be if you want full
Mhm.
color, and then they can decide
Okay.
if they want to pay. But that's like after they've already.
That's more of
have-
an yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's like an additional
Negotiation
thing.
with
A
it.
negotiation, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But usually when I do black and white, I just do gray tones. I add gray tones in and stuff like that. So
That sounds cool. I think that would be a good.
Hey,
deal.
I'll admit, a lot of people when they say black and white, that just means, a little bit of shading, basic
Yeah.
shading or no shading at all. You just get line work, man.
no.
But
no,
I mean,
yeah,
adding those gray tones, that's
yeah.
really nice.
And
Mm.
actually, there's some samples. The cards that I showed up in there, like I think you scroll up on the other side. Let me see. Nope,
Scroll
the
up,
other
you
way.
said?
Yep.
Oh, here we go.
There you go. Yeah. Those are some of the cards. They could be better pictures, but yeah, I actually put a little blue in there. Whatever hits the mood, I'll throw it in. But those were the recent cards that I did for the April.
Those are cool ones.
Yeah, there's the Ultraman with his and those are the
Oh
cards.
yeah, I see.
And
Yeah,
then
that's
there's,
what's up.
I love
dude.
this one with Doc, and then look at that. I got the words. Bzz, I put the sound effect in there, so yeah,
Oh yeah, I like
not
that.
bad,
Yeah.
not bad at all. And then this was
I like this one here with the Slurpee.
that was Baragon. That was Baragon from
That's so
Godzilla.
good.
So there you go. You can I tend to do really good sketch cards, and then this is the one right here. I love again. Anytime somebody says, "Hey, look, I want to see B win or whatever," I'm like, yeah, that just makes it even more special. So that's
Yeah, I
a
love
picture.
the way you do the sketch cards too.
Yep.
They're really nice.
So that's what a person would get.
Nice, dude. And we got. what
Oh,
was it,
this
like-
is the big one. This is
Yeah, I was
the
gonna say.
the Robo Giant.
Woo. Beware the footsteps of the giants.
So actually, if you scroll up back on the side where the artwork is, and just scroll down. Oh, the other way. Sorry,
Oh, my bad.
the other way. Yep, there
The
you
other
go.
guy.
No worries, no worries. All right, there you go. Scroll up, and now
Oh.
we start getting into that. So this is the figure. Nope, scroll up.
Sorry, I think it's delayed, so I.
Oh, it's delayed. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. But then once you get past there, that's when we start seeing the figure. This is where Dope Pope's exclusive figure comes in. All right, there
Here
you
we
go.
got the.
That's a great
that's
picture,
Nice,
yep.
man.
And then you scroll down some more, and there's actually a video.
Oh, you got.
So you got
multiple images,
turnaround.
yeah.
So you got some turnarounds, and there you can click on that video, and that's the video that Dope Pope did of just a turnaround. So there you go. And this is for the, like I said, this is for the daring of heart. Those who are willing to say, hey, look, I want to have a figure, an actual 8-inch figure with a stand, and you get to paint them any way you want. It is absolutely gorgeous. Clearly, I have mine over here, so I took the plunge. So
You gonna be painting him soon? Getting that bad boy painted up?
You know what? I tend to like unpainted stuff.
Ah, interesting.
So
It's
I
kinda got
do.
a cool aesthetic to it.
Yeah, it does, because I have another figure by a friend of mine who did, but it was all die-cast metal, and it was like I didn't want any paints on it or anything. I love the metal look. I think it looks great.
Yeah, no, it is really cool. I love
this-
those figures, man.
So honestly, I mean, it's a great figure, and I've seen figures online that people
It's
have
big.
purchased, and it's big. It's original, custom. I mean, we really thought about how the pricing was going to be on it. We think it's a fair enough price for this kind of job.
Premium item.
Premium item. So I mean, it's got the dreadlocks in the back. It looks really good. Feels great. I mean, this is for the daring of heart, man. We really hope some
It'll
more
look
people
good
jump
sitting on
on
your
it.
shelf, that's for sure.
It definitely does. It definitely does. It's a solid figure. So
Well, that's really cool. And how many
And
of
again,
those do
it's
you
an
have
opportunity
available?
to make it your own as well.
Oh, I missed that. What happened? There was two.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Matt. What were you saying there?
How many figures?
It's also an opportunity to make it your own,
Yeah.
because you can either paint it, or like I know there are a bunch of really good uh, model painters out there with reasonable prices. And
Hmm. Well, it's definitely a
oh,
custom figure
yeah,
and stuff. So again, this is for the daring of heart. We're taking a swing. Um, just to see whether or not people want to see more of these kind of things. So we did get one person pulled the trigger. It would be beautiful if we could get at least 2 to 3 more people, just to show us that they want this, that they're interested in it. And if you are, then we definitely want to get Dope Hope to do some kajus. You know, that's
Right? Because
that's
how
that's
cool you got B-Win and then figure, and then you could set him up with some of the kaijus and make a little battle scene.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, but
That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
but again, like this is that whole part of business, where the business side of it sits in and it goes, well, are people interested in it?
Mm-hmm.
Because again,
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to have something on here that if people aren't interested in, then
Mm.
I don't want to waste Dope Pope's
That's
time,
fair.
and and
Yeah.
and same thing vice versa. We want to make sure that people really want these things, so they gotta show us that they want it. If you really want it, then pull the trigger. We got one person that pulled the trigger, so that's the thing that's sort of keeping us kind of going. Okay, it's 2 weeks. We had 2 weeks left. Maybe we can at least get at least 2 more people. Can we get 2 more people to come in here and say, boom, we really like this. We're gonna go for this. We want to have that figure with the books and everything like that. So then that says, okay, we got something here that we can
Mm.
work with.
That's
So
great. And then from there, you can see if you come back and do some more figures
exactly,
in the future.
exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, hey, I hope you guys get a couple more of those sold as well, because I think that those are really awesome.
Thank you very much. We're very happy. It's a beautiful. I never would imagine that we'd be looking at this figure. Like this was like a dream right here.
Mm. That's amazing, man. I love it. And we come down to our final tier here, the
a
Titan
Titan amongst
tier.
backers.
That's the really big one. So you're getting original artwork as well from me. Full color sketch card. I think the comics, and then Matthew as well as something written by Matthew. So you're getting something, 2 original pieces of art from the creators. Um, you get the figure, and then you also get the title card art, which is part of the other one as well. So you're getting some stuff, definitely some really good
This
stuff.
is for the ultimate Kaijus and Cowboys mega fan
Yes,
out there.
Absolutely.
Who wants to dive in, get everything, get all the stuff, get all the cool perks. This is the one for you.
exactly.
Well, that's really awesome, man. Like I said, you guys have a lot of really cool stuff on offer, and there's a little bit of something for everybody, it feels like.
Definitely.
And you guys also have add-ons, I believe you were mentioning earlier, correct?
Yes, we do. Yep, through the general
Yep.
store.
They're from previous campaigns. We got a bunch of patches, stickers, back issues. So, like, if you just want to get like issue 1 or issue 2, fill out your collection. The patches are absolutely amazing. They're done by a company called Smoky Mountain Patch Supply. Like
Here,
the
here,
detail is
actually,
incredible on them.
here you go. Let me see if you guys can see it.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's the latest one we have. That's a character. That's our main character called Doc, and on the left,
There you go.
Demo.
stage right is the bot with
B-Win,
no
sorry.
name. But no, that's what it is.
Yep.
Hmm.
Fantastic job.
And like
Really cool. Yeah.
I wish we had the technology where you could feel something from the screen, because like
Yeah.
it's a fan like
Well
it
done.
really is fantastic. Like I have like a whole bunch of them in my room, and it's like I'm going to be putting these things on like jackets and backpacks, as many as I can.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Unbelievable. It's great. He does great work. And again, somebody that I did work with in the past, like I was doing illustrations for a ton of like custom patch makers.
Mm.
It was like from 2017 to 2019, maybe in between. I was doing tons of original artwork for these custom patch makers, and one of them was Smoky Mountain, And boy, whew. And then also we do have something. No, we don't. Sorry.
can't spill all the beans just yet. On
No. You got. I know. I stopped myself there. I was like, oh.
Speaking
Don't
of
want to
which,
give
I
away
do.
too many spoilers.
Yeah. I held it
Right,
back. I held it
exactly,
back. I
yeah.
stopped myself.
But
So anyway,
speaking. Well, I did want to ask you a quick question.
Sure.
Without spoiling anything and without giving away too much, is there anything you can tease about what we can expect from the future of Kaijus and Cowboys?
well, there you go, Matt.
Okay, so so we lay out like the big massive threat in issue 2, and issues 3 and 4. Like I said, it's this epic, long drawn out chase scene, and it is some of the most high octane, energetic stuff I've ever written, and I've seen the artwork of how it works, and it is like. I run out of breath whenever I read it. It's that's what it's like.
I worked through that, baby. I was like, I gotta make this. It was crazy working on it, but I that's the whole thing. I wanted to go over the top and crazy, but also make sense. And so that was the key thing. And I remember going back and forth over how things were going to get laid out and stuff like that. And I'm happy. I'm very happy.
And see. It gets even better because issue 5 is a slight breather before the massive plunge.
Yep.
And I've seen the artwork for issue 6. It is insane. It is absolute it all comes to a head. There's I don't know how to just describe it without spoiling things, but
my feeling is that people when people see the word,
it is something that is okay it is I know the word epic gets thrown around a lot, but it really is epic, and everything comes to a head. There's this big massive fight scene that takes place, and then and that's just issue 6. We're at the halfway point. It only gets it continues to even ramp up from there. So the way I like to say it is issue 6 and issue 11 are going to absolutely blow your minds.
Wow. Wow, I like to hear that. Nice.
So yeah, you're
and it sounds like you're kind of ramping up towards that right now with the issues you're doing.
Well, also
yes.
One of the things I try to tell people is that I think that the term cowboys is something that it's something that, even though Bwin clearly looks like a cowboy is more of we're looking at more of the ways of the cowboy. So again, I go back to the closest thing I can think of that people can get a sense of that is the Mandalorian, where the Mandalorian had a lot of tropes in it that were very Western tropes, but clearly he wasn't dressed up as the cowboy. He didn't look like a cowboy per se, but but there were tropes about him where he kind of carried himself like a cowboy. Even the idea of him with the with little Grogu, who's a little bit of lone wolf and cub and that kind of thing, and that kind of stuff. So the thing about it is that I think that as the story goes on, you're going to see that there's more to it. Even the way the characters look and how there's a lot of nods. I when I was trying to design things how they look, I definitely wanted to get that kind of strange weirdness of how I remember anime and manga when I was growing up. And what made it so much fun was way characters were just so bizarre looking and whatever, but they all kind of fit in this weird world that they exist in. So that's my little twist on the whole thing with Kaijus and Cowboys. So yes, the term Cowboys to me has always been more of somebody who does cowboy things, and cowboy things are extreme things. There are things that ordinary people don't do. Ordinary people wouldn't jump on a moving train. Or try to get into a gunfight with somebody or whatever. Ordinary people just wouldn't think, but a cowboy would. A cowboy would be like, "Yeah, sure, all right, I'll try to jump on this giant buffalo or whatever, just because it's cool." So I think that's that little twist in there of what that means. So.
And you bringing the Kaijus and Cowboys together is such a unique thing too.
The term once we started saying the name, because originally when we were throwing the name around, because it's always like you know, when advertising, it's like you got to hear something, and it has to flow, and that's the most important thing. And I remember when I first was like, I said, well, Matthew, I said, why don't we spell it, you know, Kaijus and Cowboys with both like with the K's. And he was like, nah, that won't work. That's dumb. So I was like, all right, we'll keep it Cowboys then. We'll keep it Cowboys. And it works. It actually worked. And actually, the logo was done by Keith Gleason. So Mighty Mascots and stuff. So
it's a good logo too. I like it.
He did a great logo. I mean, it just works. It just everything just works. So that's the kind of scary thing, I guess, because when everything just kind of comes together and it kind of works, now you're just like. You're almost waiting for something not to work, you go. But, you know, we've been very fortunate. We're still doing pretty good. We're still doing pretty strong. We got 2 weeks left, everyone. So we really want to make that push. And today we actually got one person that came in. So we got 65 because we were at the 64 mark for a little bit. So then we got one person came in today. So we just a few more. We need a few more to just get over that 3,000.
As you guys, you'll. And with 14 days to go, you guys have enough time to make it, and I really think
plenty
that
of time.
you're on the upwards. Yeah, it was on the upward swing here. You know, with everything that we talked about today, and with I'll put the link up on the screen here for people to check it out. But something I wanted to ask you is for the people who are maybe on the fence or still considering backing your book, what is it you like to tell them why they should back your book today?
I would say that the reason why is just. When I grew up and I got into comic books to me represented exploration. It was like I went into the comic book store. I didn't have one agenda. I didn't see just one thing and said, okay, I'm gonna latch onto that one thing. I look at comic books as something that is much more vast. A sense of a discovery, searching, going out there. You find something that's unique and different, and you just kind of. You go looking through it. I would hope that people will be open enough to look at what we have as something as an alternative to certain other things. If you're somebody who's always been asking, where are the kaiju comic books or where are the giant robots or robot comic books, then you don't have to ask that any longer. We are here. We are right here. We are waiting for you to come read our books. We want you to read our books. So, hopefully that's that whole thing where we can get that sense of exploration and people out there who might be searching for something a little different than what's being offered out there. Just a little different.
That's well said. Well, I thank you. I really appreciate you joining us today. It looks like we did lose we did lose Matt again one more time. It looks like had to of course had to happen right here at the end, but hopefully you can say bye, on our behalf to him.
Oh, no problem. And I want to thank you both for having us on. I mean,
you're very welcome. It was our pleasure, and it's been amazing talking to you. Look, the time has flown. We're just
I know,
at the 2 hour mark.
Oh man!
And it's like
we're dragging ears. We're dragging people's ears, man. Come on, give me that ear. Come on. No, this is fantastic, and yeah, just. Hopefully we can get some more folks in there, and definitely for those figures.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
You folks gotta let us. You gotta show us that you want these things. If you don't, then we have to make that hard decision, the business decision, and that's something where it's always a painful thing. So I'm really optimistic. I'm gonna remain. We got 14 days. In 14 days, a lot of stuff can happen, and I'm really hoping that people can. Definitely jump on that tier, get the figure, and then get some great comics, and then we can wrap this year up. This would be our last campaign for the year. So
that would be an amazing way to end the year.
Solid note, yeah, be a great way.
Oof, that's awesome, man. I'm gonna put that up on the screen there again. The link is up on the screen and it's in the chat, so you guys can go follow along and go check it out and back the book with all the different stuff they have on offer.
Fantastic.
And where can people follow you online so that they can check out all the stuff that you've got going on?
You can follow me, us as well. Kaijus and Cowboys has a Twitter page, or Twitter X. I'm on Twitter X. I'm on Twitter X as well. I'm also on Facebook. Frankie B. Washington, Instagram. TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I even have Tumblr. Still have Tumblr.
Oh, interesting.
I know, all over the place. It's that advertising spirit. You never want to go to every avenue you can. But yeah,
point,
but I'm mostly on TikTok and I'm on and Instagram, Twitter X, and Facebook. So
Excellent.
there you go.
Well, thank you again for joining us, and we're definitely gonna be back in the book, as I said earlier.
Oh wow,
We're
thank
gonna
you
check,
guys.
definitely pick up 1 through 3, so I can catch up on all the cool adventures that they've been doing.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it looks like Matt just joined us here for the end. We were just wrapping up here. Did you want to add anything here before we head on out?
Yeah, I mean, to answer the question of whether or not if you're still on the fence,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'd say 2 things. I'd say, first of all, this book is so mental and so insane that it's not worth trying. That it's absolutely worth trying out. Like I said, a digital copy is just $5. But if that's a little too rich for you, we do have a global comics page. It's a website. It's like they're doing some new stuff. They're becoming like the place for like indie creators to put their books on. We have a book that you can't find on the Kickstarter, and we have that book on Global Comics for free. So if you don't feel the Comics page, and you can check us out for free, and then you can use that to decide.
Oh,
There are a lot of projects out there, and there are a lot of really good projects out there that deserve your time, attention, and money.
That's right.
But we hope that we're one of them for you. So,
that's awesome, man.
that's all I can
Good
think
way
of
to
at
try
the
out the
moment.
comics. Well, hey, I appreciate that, man. That's a really good way to get a preview of the comic and see if it's for you. And if it is, by all means, please go and back the comic on Kickstarter there.
Exactly.
And there's a link there one more time
Absolutely.
for you.
Absolutely. This is like I said, it's too crazy and too weird to be contained. So, give it a shot.
And there you go.
That's perfect. Well,
Awesome.
thank you both for joining us tonight. We really had a lot of fun talking to you, and I'm really excited to see where this.
For the brief moments when I was on.
Well, when you were on, it was worth it. So we appreciate it, man. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh,
It's
you're
fantastic.
welcome. And
All right.
everyone,
Yes,
thank
yes.
you.
This book help it make lots of so I can afford a better computer.
Yes, please.
Here you go. Read comics, folks. And that's it. That's a wrap. All right, guys.
Thanks,
Have a
guys.
good night.
Have a good night.